the show starts off by raining on you, followed by kinda neat but ultimately pointless laser effects.
Tropical laser beam,
And speaking of blandness, I'm sure this is a perfectly nice hotel to stay at, but there's not much to make it worth just visiting. It's hard to weave much Disney magic when your theme is an ordinary modern-day hotel. Plus, apparently if we stay here too long, we grow extra limbs.
Oh, save you!
At first glance, this looks remarkably similar to the Grand Floridian, the same sort of old-timey area, hotel and pool, and holy crap, demon clown face, vomiting children, run for your life!
That monster's gonna give me nightmares.
The girl is so cute.
Yes, so unlike you perfectly normal circus clowns. Gotta have blue hair.
This particular Legoland was built on the former site of Cypress Gardens, a combination amusement park, botanical garden, water ski showcase arena, which opened in 1936 and has a long history of closing and reopening and reclosing and changing owners, passing between such corporate behemoths as Anheuser-Busch and Adventure Parks Group before its 2009 closure.
Careers this time!
Only to be purchased by Merlin and reopened as Legoland in 2011.
Put the wet stuff on the hot stuff!
Isn't it a bit more complicated than that? No, if there's anything hot, you grab anything wet and use that.
I hope.
Well, my computer's a little warm. Quickly, grab the wet stuff!
Apply liberally.
So then our live Not Arnold fights our CGI liquid metal guy and attacks him by blowing up liquid nitrogen.
We'll freeze him out!
And then there's a bird.
That is an ugly board.
And while this land isn't tied to a specific movie or franchise, it is home to that most beloved of theme park characters, the annoying talking fountain with the staticky speaker system.
Simon says, look up in the sky. Gotcha.
Exactly. It's the greatest day.
Well, I never. Burninating the countryside is a very rude activity, young lady. Why, I oughta.
The cheat is in the house.
Who's the man that looks like the cheat?
But then they decided to give it a plot. Now this is Disaster Studios, where low-budget, schlocky disaster flicks are produced by Frank Kincaid, a renegade filmmaker played by, oh, hell yes. So, what attractions do they have here? Well, they have the two that used to be part of Lost Continent. There's Dragon Challenge, which used to be called Dueling Dragons. And I still call it Dueling Dragons because I happen to think that's a much cooler name than Dragon Challenge. It's just a roller coaster playing Twister with another roller coaster, but now the backstory is the Tri-Wizard Tournament, and the queue is decorated accordingly. But the ride itself is the usual hunk of steel in a fenced-off area that gives you an unfortunate view of backstage. When the second best ride in your themed area is also one of the very few rides that, by its very nature, breaks that theming. It's not quite a deal breaker, but it is a reminder that flawless perfection can never truly be achieved, and we should all just stop trying. Isn't that right? Glitchy editing, glitchy editing, glitchy editing, glitchy editing, glitchy editing. Both cars used to launch at the same time, hence the dueling part of the name, but apparently at some point Universal became more concerned with safety than with awesomeness. Then there's Fly to the Hippogriff, which used to be called the Flying Unicorn. Kiddie roller coaster. Still the same thing. But at least now it's nicely decorated with an animatronic buckbeak.
Anyway, so, party and party, 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 it's the weekend.
Our next entry comes to us from the wonderful world of Homestar Runner. Who knew that two brothers cracking each other up with inside jokes and nostalgia could grow into an entire full-fledged universe of delightful characters, brilliantly absurd running gags, and shows within shows? There's so many delightful musical moments throughout the website, including quite a few that might qualify for this list. Strong Bad scroll button and email jingles almost count if I felt like considering them actual songs. But this slot goes to one of those inside joke nostalgia shows within shows, a song which once again completely encapsulates the entire genre it's parodying.
Cheat commandos may be fighting for freedom, and each is sold separately. Cheat commandos are probably battling evil by all our playsets and toys.
It's funny because it's true. And it's catchy as hell. This song also had a reprise/spin-off.
Would somebody get this flying cotton ball out of my face? Commandos, those ridiculous gangsters, by all our playsets and toys.
I didn't say it was a particularly different spin-off. Hey everyone, Dave here. 2014 has been a rough year for a lot of us. Seems like every day there was more bad news. I myself spent most of the year unemployed and dealing with various personal heartbreaks. But despite all the stress and sadness, there was a bright spot. For all the misery that 2014 brought us, it also brought us one very, very happy thing. The return of Homestar Runner. Everybody loves the Homestar Runner. Or at the very least, everybody loves the Strong Bad or the Cheat or the Trogdor. The Homestar Runnerverse dominated web entertainment in the pre-YouTube days, making fans out of everyone from Joss Whedon to They Might Be Giants. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who took their long-overdue return from hiatus as a prompt to go back and revisit every single link on the entire site, re-exploring the entire comedy universe that stemmed from email typos, inside jokes, and collective nostalgia. And so, in honor of Decemberween, or Januween if you're watching on YouTube, I'm celebrating some of my favorite creations of the Brothers Chaps. And while the entire website is full of brilliance, there is one page in particular that I've probably spent more time on than any other. And that's why today, I'm geeking out over Peasant's Quest.
Dave's Obsession of the moment.
Dateline 2004. My Homestar Runner obsession was at its height. Every Monday morning I would dash off to the computer and see if there was a new cartoon. It was July 19th, and I saw a new short about a Videlectrix game. A clear parody of King's Quest and similar Sierra titles. Two of my obsessions converging? It's not my birthday. It's like 2.5 weeks after my birthday. At first I thought it was just a fake commercial sketch. After all, it was funny enough as a joke, and it was filled with clearly fake statistics. And while they mentioned one real game, they also mentioned one fake one. But at the end, it actually gave a release month. That's awfully bold for a fake commercial. 2 weeks later, my brother and I logged onto the site. The game was there. The game was real. A full-fledged Sierra parody game available to play for free. We were ecstatic, and we spent the morning playing it until we beat it. What blew our minds was how accurately the game captured the feel of its parody target. Exploring peasantry and looking for ridiculous puzzle solutions felt almost exactly like exploring Daventry and looking for ridiculous puzzle solutions. Except without the mind-numbing frustration. All of the good parts of the Sierra game experience were there, or at least comical representations of them were, and the game successfully managed to capture our nostalgia for those early quests. Oh, that's right. Now I'm nostalgic for a thing that made me nostalgic for another thing. I am Internet Incarnate! The game has all of the conventions of early Sierra, from the stealing random crap from every room you enter to the token arcade-style minigame, and of course the conventions are riffed on affectionately yet bluntly. Like an actual Sierra game, some of the funniest stuff comes out of the plethora of really, really stupid ways to die. The final punchline of the game drives this home more than anything. They also riff on the overly complicated, illogical puzzles of early games, mainly by including puzzle solutions you'd absolutely never think of without the over-the-top hints. Or in some cases, without the game trailer. And of course they riff on the early graphic style, its inconsistent effectiveness, and the old artist's tendency to include details that seem far more important than they actually are. But even beyond the nostalgia, it's a damn funny game. Yes, the jokes might have more meaning if you already have knowledge of early Sierra, but even if you don't, the game presents the style accurately enough that you can still get the joke. And like everything Homestar, it's full of inside jokes, obscure references, and Easter eggs. That said, I don't know how many people who didn't appreciate the nostalgia got far enough to appreciate the other jokes. I knew at least a few people who were so confused by the gameplay experience that they gave up before they even managed to smell like a peasant. But surely there was someone out there who had never played a King's Quest game before but still managed to get the hang of it easily enough. People talk a lot about movies that work equally well as parodies of a genre and as examples of the genre, and Peasant's Quest absolutely fits that description. Except for the movie part. It's a game. The Peasant's Quest movie is just a trailer, and it's pure spoof. Pure spoof that has Dr. Krieger from Archer in it. But the Peasant's Quest game, while on the short side, is a legitimate adventure gaming experience. And while it's a gently snarky take, it has the potential to be someone's entry point into the genre as a whole. So if you play Peasant's Quest and are curious about the source material, check out the King's Quest series. It may not be as self-aware, but it'll feel familiar to you. Just be sure to take advantage of multiple save slots. They were crueler about dead ends back then. So, have you played Peasant's Quest? Or were you more of the action-y Stinkleman type? Share your thoughts in the comments, and in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about the reason you all went to the site in the first place, Udusby Mails. So until then, this is Dave, signing off. Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And despite some nasty rumors to the contrary, I also list other things that begin with D. Things like Decemberween, Dangeresque, DNA evidence, and deleted! Strong Bad Emails. Arguably the first modern web series, and still one of the best. Not only did it very quickly become HomestarRunner.com's flagship feature, but the worlds and characters created by Strong Bad in his replies and tangents spun off into their own Toons games and recurring features, directly affecting the trajectory of the site as a whole. And now, I'm going to look back at just a few of my favorite entries in the greatest Q&A of all of internet times. Put on your favorite #1 jam, and let's begin. Number 20. Dragon. Really? What can I say about this one? It's easy to take for granted, but Trogdor is the most viral thing from the Homestar universe for a reason. Sure, much of that reason is the really catchy song at the end, but even before you get there, we have Strong Bad's patented awkward attempt at masking his cluelessness with pseudo-expertise, and fine showings from several supporting characters, including the Easter egg guy. Yes, all these years later, he was still Trogdor!
And the Trogdor comes in the night!
Number 19. Website. Kids, before Facebook and Tumblr made it possible to build yourself a professionally designed personal webpage with just a click of a button, there used to be something called GeoCities. Ask your parents. Looking at this email now, it's like a time capsule of what most amateur personal web pages looked like in the days before social media. And it actually reminds me how impressive it is that the minimalist web design of Golden Age HomestarRunner.com has aged so well when so many other sites of the era have gone through countless redesigns since then. But never mind all that, we get to see cute pictures of the cheat. Aww. Number 18. Anything. For reasons we're never quite told, Homestar is answering the email this week. It's a pretty inane question from Dan Jerome from Fish Lake Foreign Leadership Camp, Florida. I don't know, but Homestar proves more than up to the task of answering the question, and in the process forever changes the way Homestar Runner fans look at Mountain Dew.
Apply liberally.
There's not much to this email, but it's fun to see other characters take a spin behind the old compy, and it probably helped influence the decision to briefly introduce her emails later. Number 17. The movies. Strong Bad describes the cinema-going experience. More standard Strong Bad observational humor, but hey, I'm a film nerd who worked at a movie theater once. I can relate to all this. I can especially relate to Strong Sad.
Ooh, and he had a cameo as Stevedore number 2 in the prequel.
That's why I don't have many friends.
Scroll buttons? You guys okay?
Love poems. Strong Bad is asked for romance advice, and he tells you how to write love poems. Yes, observational humor, style parody, all the good stuff. And then Homestar interrupts and derails the whole thing with his love poem.
It's funny to me when you try to play grown up.
I could do a separate list of just my favorite times Homestar has interrupted a Strong Bad email and made it about himself. And while there might be other overall interruptions higher than this on that list, absolutely nothing will ever top Homestar's grocery list poem.
It's for enchiladas.
Homestar, are you and Marzipan even dating right now?
Are we even dating one? Are we even dating? No, she broke up with me again this morning.
Scrollabatones.
Japanese cartoon. Again, what can I really say about this one? Reframing the characters of Free Country USA in different genres, eras, and styles is a tried and true trope of the site, and this email demonstrates that simply and effectively with a broad parody of old anime that feels pretty accurate, at least to those of us who barely watch anime. Even though the site already had some fans, it really was the 1-2 punch of Japanese cartoon and dragon that put it on the map and cemented its place in internet culture. These two emails were a lot of people's first introduction to Strong Bad, and they liked what they saw.
Scroll it out, just scroll it out. Scroll buttons 2.0.
Theme song.
Strong Bad is a wrestle man, he's the email spell checking this guy in the land. He checks real emails from the net. He's got 2 brothers and the cheat is bad. The cheat is bad. There's nobody dumber than Homestar Runner on the Strong Bad Email Show.
A lot of Strong Bad's observational humor emails are a setup for the Brothers Chaps to do some really well done style parodies. And this is a fine example, with hypothetical examples of very familiar feeling theme songs for the Strong Bad show. And as a bonus, we get some of my favorite commercials from the site. CGNU.
Do you make butt at your current job? Do you want to make twice butt? A shady online degree is just 4 clicks away at CGNU Online University.
And 3 is for tonight.
Join Mandy, Brandy, Andy, and Scourge as they learn how to give a care. But first, they're tiny, they're toony, they're all a little loony. It's the Cheat Commandos.
Once again it comes scrolling back. Scroll buttons get ill like a heart attack.
Crazy cartoon. Who doesn't love Sweet Cup and Cakes? All those hijinks of A. Steve, and apparently this guy's named Sherlock, and Bubs is so well cast as the voice of the wheelchair. I kind of feel like what we see of Sweet Cup and Cakes looks to us exactly like any out-of-context Homestar Runner clip looks to someone completely unfamiliar with Homestar Runner. Pure, illogical, surreal, unmotivated nonsense that would probably feel right at home on Adult Swim if it weren't animated so well.
The Cheat, this is the greatest cartoon in the whole world. Have a trophy.
And if you're trying to fade me, then you must smoke crack.
Scroll buttons, oh yeah, like that heart attack.
Date. Strong Bad speculates what Homestar and Marzipan's dates are like, because this week they are dating. And after running a simulator, he decides to check with his hidden camera. It's some fun character work for Homestar and Marzipan in a context we surprisingly hadn't explored much before. And it introduces the classic party game, Sid Hoffman or Sid Frenchman. And as a bonus, we get to see some of Strong Bad's other hidden cameras. And we get the introduction of the bear holding a shark, which is a wonderful example of the Brothers Chaps' commitment to the arbitrary.
Hey, Marzipan, can you feel that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, you're kicking me in the shins.
Oh, I think I remember something like that.
Scroll buttons, 1, 2, 1, 2, and if you swing by my crib, then I can scroll with you.
Theme park. Gee, who could have predicted I'd enjoy the cartoon full of amusement park jokes? This is totally unprecedented. This is a really long email, but it does not waste any of its time. First, of course, we get to see Strong Bad's fantasy park, everything he would do if he could afford to do it. And as always, the Brothers Chaps managed to balance accurate style parody with unique character-driven perspective. But then at the end, we get Strong Bad's actual tourist attraction, and it is, well, it's probably the best parody of the Jungle Cruise I've ever seen.
Oh no, it's Headhunter.
That's right, he's a tour guide on the Jungle Cruise ride. Skipper Bad is his name.
Chewy, scroll buttons, chewy, rock on. I got scroll buttons like the day is long. I got scroll buttons like the day is long.
Email Thunder, the long-awaited 200th email. The anticipation was incredible. Pomp, circumstance, and a poopsmith who might be a giant, all building up to that one exciting moment that is immediately deflated.
Dear Homestar!
That's right, folks. Homestar has been answering emails this whole time. Twist ending. Okay, it doesn't actually make much sense, but when has that ever been required in this universe? Honestly, this would have been a perfectly fine series finale for Strong Bad emails. But then they made a couple more before going on their indefinite hiatus, so way to screw that up.
The scroll, the buttons, scrolling so smooth like the butter on the muffin.
Independent. Strong Bad is asked if Strong Badia has a film festival, and instead of set up the obvious, here's everybody's film entries, he goes on a tirade against indie film and independent film, which are two distinct categories, and yeah, he pretty much nails the distinction, or at least the stereotypes. I guess it's good that Email Thunder wasn't the series finale. The Pompeii-Era did not last very long, but it produced this absolute gem, and I think anyone who's ever taken a film class will relate to this email.
I keep my buttons on scroll and all the ladies in check. Did you find the spare key to my apartment yet? What?
Kids book. Strong Bad writes a children's book. by defacing somebody else's children's book. It's not really any more derivative than any other kid's book. But Strong Bad's doodle riffs take Mr. Sports Interview's work to a new place, and remind us of a very valuable lesson about ourselves.
Everyone is different. No two people are not on fire. I keep my buttons on scroll and all the ladies in check. Did you find the spare key to my apartment yet? What?
Little questions. V-Class from Sweden tries to ask some questions. English is not V-Class's first language. Strongbad answers the questions best he can. I can't really articulate my love of this email, it's just pure joy from start to finish, and it will probably never stop making me laugh, no matter how many times I watch it.
Dear scroll buttons, let's not mince words. I love you guys.
Montage. Once again, the Brothers Chaps have a commitment to the arbitrary. When asked to create a montage, Strongbad decides early on to make it about a wagon full of pancakes. No reason, just a wagon full of pancakes. And then the Brothers Chaps flawlessly style parody several different types of montages, all without losing the wagon full of pancakes element. There's no pre-existing significance to a wagon full of pancakes, it's just random and nonsensical, and it fits into montages really, really well. You go win that championship, wagon full of pancakes.
I'm the best. Oh wow. Somebody to take me down. I'm the best. Oh wow. Nobody to take me down.
Hold it, control it, and buttons. Come on, let's see you scroll it.
Impression. Jonka asks Strongbad if he can impersonate Strong Sad. Everybody gathers around for the Strong Sad impression contest because that's a thing. It's fun to see the characters' wildly different takes on how to impersonate Strong Sad. Of course, Strongbad's take is cheating, and the cheat surprisingly isn't. And this provides us with one of the earliest examples of Matt Chapman portraying one of his characters impersonating another one of his characters. With a sock on his head.
I have a sock on my head. Get it off, 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 get it off.
Ha! On the mic, I'm dropping scrollable science, and I'm scrolling through the hood with my email client. Ha!
Dangeresque 3. In the email Dangeresque 3, Strongbad shows us his feature film Dangeresque 1, Dangeresque 2? Now, this is not the first visit to the Dangeresque franchise, nor will it be the last. But it might be my favorite, just because for me, this one most evokes all those terrible movies we would make as kids.
I need you back here away, right? I mean, right away.
I'm in a car right now, but I can drive it to the office.
With its bad acting, clunky exposition, and just ludicrous production design, this feels very much like kids trying to play grown-ups on camera. And it reinforces the really ambiguous age of these characters. That said, the end credit song is genuinely awesome.
Today is alright for tonight. Riding in a Corvette and feeling alright. Today is alright for tonight. S to the C-R-O-double-L. My name is not Norman, but still I rock well.
High school. Strongbad is asked what high school was like, and he doesn't really remember, so it's time for some style parodies. If Japanese cartoons solidified the trope of reframing the characters in different eras and genres, high school perfected it. The Brothers Chaps clearly have a nostalgic fondness for some of the less good entries in the Hanna-Barbera canon, as demonstrated by Limousine But They're in Space, and this email spends just enough time in each different cartoon to milk all the jokes they can out of it without overstaying their welcome.
Really?
Scroll buttons and the Lappy together at last. How you ever learned to scriggy scroll so fast?
Army. This email is, first and foremost, a character-driven comedy. Homestar forms his own army and obliviously declares war on Strongbadia, even more obliviously trying to recruit Strongbad to the cause. Simple, nonsensical hilarity ensues. Not only did this email sprout the "do you has" meme, which is a phrase that'll never stop making me chuckle, but it also kinda planted the seed for cheat commandos to be a thing. And I know we're all happy to live in a world where cheat commandos is a thing.
Don't you die on me, Benedetto. Not on my watch. Don't you give up.
You never gave me the $5.
And that, my dear hankerin', is why Strongbadia will never need an army. And that's why I like to scroll with scroll buttons.
For kids. Strongbad is told he should host a kids show. He demonstrates what a bad idea that would be.
Right, dumb children. Find the cheat. No, he's behind the box. No, look, he's not even behind the box. He's barely obscured by the box.
And that would be a funny enough email on its own. But then it's elevated to amazingness when Homestar hosts a kids show inexplicably called What Do You Know Hattie Man, which is, no joke, the greatest show to ever not actually air on television. And it has a song that absolutely would have made last month's list were it not for the Commandos.
Stave it off, 1, 2, 3, and now you can count to 3.
That's a real popular song. Who wants to hear of it 50 times more?
Stave it off, 1, 2, 3, and now you can count to 3. Stave it off, 1, 2, 3, and now you can count to 3.
And my number one favorite Strongbad email, Virus. Strongbad opens his email to discover a virus, and the virus quickly corrupts not only his own computer, but all of HomestarRunner.com. And holy crap, the consequences are terrifying and amazing and hilarious. Without a doubt, this was at the time the Brothers Chap's most ambitious cartoon, and they might not have surpassed it since. This email is basically the definition of using the frame as part of the painting, and it's just about perfect. In fact, if there's any flaw at all, it's that it works so well watching it on the website that it's far less effective on the DVD or YouTube versions. It's still funny no matter where you watch it, but it's not nearly as mind-blowing when they just have to pretend the frame is there. So get a device with Flash and watch it on HomestarRunner.com. It's .net. And there you have it, my favorite Speemails. But wait, you say, what about the countless other cartoons on the website that don't fit into the Speemail category? How do you rank them? We will talk about that some other day. But in the meantime, what are your favorite Strongbad emails? Leave a comment letting me know how wrong my opinion is, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off.
Oh, holy crap, and welcome to the D list where I list things, and my name begins with D.
Last year around this time, I listed my favorite Strongbad emails. And this year, I thought I'd return to the Homestar Runnerverse, but I decided to go a little more festive with it. So this year, I am counting down my favorite Homestar Runner holiday cartoons. And I don't just mean Decemberween, I'm opening this up to any holiday. So grab a mug of Hot Jones and let's begin. First off, a few honorable mentions: The House That Gave Sucky Treats and Halloween Potion Majig. I'm not including these on the list proper because they're kind of more games than tunes, and my favorite bits in them aren't bits that the player is guaranteed to experience, but they're both worth playing through several times just to make sure you see all the outcomes. Number 14. Scenorial Day. Much of the world of Homestar is life seen through the eyes of childhood nostalgia, and the one thing children know about Memorial Day is lots of commercials for sales on grown-up things that we don't understand. And who better to embody barely understood grown-up stuff than Senor Cardgage? Cardgage was a character I didn't care for when he first appeared, but by his third or so appearance, he had pretty much become one of my favorite characters in all of fiction. And his tenuous relationship with the already tenuous reality of Free Country USA is perfect for commercials like this. Of course, if anyone else is throwing a sale around here, you know Bubs has to compete, aided here by Homestar, and another Homestar. But it'll be tough to compete against Cardgage, who puts Tommy Wiseau to shame with his football skills. Number 13. Pumpkin Carnival. Homestar and the Cheat judge the town pumpkin carving contest, and their standards of judging seem to be arbitrary at best. Cartoons like this serve as a chance to showcase the characters one by one, both showing off their Halloween costumes for the year, and their reaction to the really quite simple task laid out before them. And Homestar's snap judgments rank among some of the best Homestar quotes.
Nah, man, I'm down.
Down with second to last place. Ding. You get most improved. Ding. You've set a new standard for last place. You don't get a ding.
And also with you.
Or they would if it was really Homestar saying them. Number 12. Fall Float Parade. Marzipan and Coach Z announced Free Country USA's Thanksgiving Parade, a tradition that is now 40 years old. And all the other characters showcase their floats. Yes, it's another here are all the characters and their entries in this contest sort of short, but it packs about as many laughs into that formula as it possibly can. And the floats aren't just self-contained jokes, some of them have consequences that affect other parts of the parade. And there's even some Easter egg aftermath.
Well, follow me home! Yeah, that's not true.
Number 11. I Killed Pom Pom. Homestar discovers his secret repressed murderous side as he thinks a deflated balloon is Pom Pom's dead body. Strong Bad uses the opportunity to mess with Homestar as he sends him all over town to try and cover up his ghastly crime. This was the first full Halloween cartoon in half a decade, and man was it worth the wait. We've seen Homestar briefly be diabolical before, but now we get to see him in a panic as he gets more and more evil to cover up the evil he never actually did in the first place. And the Toon gets quite a few bonus points for what is probably my favorite costume lineup. Homestar as Tobias, Marzipan as Servo, Pom Pom as King-Size Homer, the Cheat as Spaceman Spiff, Two Brothers Strong as two Doug Jones characters. Man, Halloween in Free Country USA is fun.
Oh, it's a good time for large-headed monstrosities. Oh, to sell you cheeseburgers. Hey, Strong Bad tonight. Ha!
Number 10. The best Decemberween ever. In a familiar Christmas special story, Homestar wants Strong Bad to like him and thinks the solution is finding the perfect present. He seeks advice from all the other characters before rooting through Bubs' bargain bin for the perfect gift. And he completely fails, but he is absolutely convinced that he succeeded, which is all that matters. Then we get a very descriptive sing-along.
Decemberween, Decemberween, your Christmas is after Halloween.
This is the holiday special that most resembles a traditional television holiday special, but with that Brothers Chaps magic to deconstruct the resolution and provide some other spices throughout.
This is the worst
This is the best Decemberween ever.
Number 9. Malloween commercial. It's about time the creepiest character on the entire site got his own Halloween short.
Sorry, must have got a toenail caught in my throat.
A parody of holiday-themed snacks that are no different than the rest of the year snacks. This is just the straight-up perfect outlet for Marshy's brand of horror, and Homestar gets to once again show off his acting in a marshmallow commercial skills. And his knowledge of the sound eyeballs make.
See.
Number 8. Seriously Force. This April Fool's Day sees the new, revamped for the 90s Homestar Runner theme song. It's short, but it's a fine example of the Brothers Chaps' ability to oh-so-accurately parody the essence of not only specific pieces of pop culture, but larger trends in pop culture. Nobody asked for these new demographics, but I think we all appreciate them.
Everybody right now. Seriously Force.
Number 7. Happy Hollow Day. It's Halloween night, but the night itself has gone missing, and the whole gang is desperate to find it.
Homestar, you are aware that Halloween night is not a puppy, aren't you?
Yes. Obviously, I am aware that it is not. What was that last part?
A puppy?
A puppy?
It's a central conflict that revels in how little sense it makes, and it allows all of the citizens of Free Country USA to work together for a common goal, but in their own conflicting ways.
Homestar Waddle, you are a genius. Thank you, Doug.
And with plenty of room for silly distractions.
You wanna stop in here and get a kielbasa, Grandma?
Number 6. A Decemberween Mackerel. When Marzipan brings a disgruntled Homestar along to help out the less fortunate Senor Card Gauge, she's devastated to discover that the creepy old man claims to be dying, and does everything in her power to save his life. This was the first new Homestar cartoon in what at the time seemed like an eternity. How naive we were. Another great showcase for Senor Card Gauge, and a chance for Homestar to show off his petty side. And we finally get an oh-so-appetizing sounding follow-up beverage to Hot Jones.
Oh, dear God, what have we done?
Number 5. The House That Gave Sucky Tricks. As of this video, the most recent Halloween cartoon. Despite its callback title, this isn't another game, it's more like a strong bad email without the email. But hey, nothing wrong with that. When Homestar is apparently too busy raising Arizona to put together a good haunted house, Strong Bad lists all the cool stuff his haunted house would have. But even in his own fantasy, the house starts to backfire.
That's the freaking poop!
I sure hope they sell large bean plush dolls in the museum gift shop.
I think you might be pleasantly surprised, young scholar.
It's a standard formula for a Strong Bad cartoon, but some things are standard because they just work. And it has quite a few quotes that have already entered my regular lexicon.
Scary shoes! Why is he wearing cycling gear? He's not even that serious about riding!
Strong Bad, you know those words in that sequence are illegal.
Oh, my sweet Jennifer, there's no coming back from this one.
Number 4. A death-defying Decemberween. While Strong Bad is on parole, Homestar announces his plan to sled down the steep deep, which everyone is convinced is unsurvivable. Strong Bad becomes suspicious of Homestar's stunt and tries to sabotage it.
I'm not very good at speeches.
This ends up being one of the few times Homestar himself is genuinely diabolical, even if his plan ends up being thwarted by Strong Bad's attempt to be diabolical. And I'll admit it, I'm just a sucker for cheesy holiday specials and fake living room sets.
Well, hey, Homestar, you didn't tell me you were having a holiday special over tonight?
Number 3. Under construction. On April Fool's Day, it appears that HomestarRunner.com has been bought out by a domain squatter, and the new site is perpetually under construction. Until Stinkoman comes in to put a stop to Stickly Man's eternal digging. This was a wonderful thing to log on to on April Fool's Day, and it forever provided the definitive way of announcing that you're taking a break.
We deserve a break! Eating pudding with a spoon!
Number 2. 3 times Halloween Fun Job. Everybody in town has their own Halloween plans. Bubs, Coach Z, and Pom Pom trick or treat as Homestar is convinced he'll get 1,000,000 pounds of candy. Strong Mad, and the Cheat go on a pranking spree as the king of town tries to tag along. And Strong Sad helps Marzipan hold a seance to contact her dead plant. There's not really a central premise here, it's basically a really great Homestar Runner sitcom episode. A chance for purely character-driven humor to shine.
Let me in! Let me in!
Hey, you're not a dead ficus plant.
You're so smart.
And the Goblin shows up dressed as a Santaman.
Yay!
#1 favorite Homestar Runner holiday cartoon, Homestar presents Presents. Homestar realizes too late that he has yet to buy anyone their Decemberween presents, and he rushes to do so in the very little time he has left. The tune starts off on the right foot by showing just how disastrously Homestar's Decemberween starts off on the wrong foot, and then we have, yes, another Homestar looking for a present cartoon, but in this case it's more about the ticking clock than the gift decision. Besides, this one has a Homestar cameo. He's ringing a paintbrush. Successfully. He's not just trying to ring a paintbrush, the paintbrush is actually making bell sounds. I think Homestar might have dark powers that we're just not ready to know about yet.
You're a real state trooper.
This one also gives us our most complete look yet into just how depressing Coach Z's life really is.
No, I'm not alone. Yes, this phone is plugged in. Oh, crackles. I forgot to pay my bills again this year.
And there you have it, my favorite Homestar specials. I hope you and yours have a happy new year and a happy every holiday between then and next Decemberween. And until next time, this is Dave signing off. Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And welcome back to the D-List favorite Decemberween tradition, talking about Homestar Runner.
Toons.
In years past, I've listed my favorite Spee-mails and my favorite holiday shorts, and this year I thought I'd talk about my 5 favorite puppet shorts, because I love those Homestar puppets.
Hey guys, wanna play some games? Not with you, Creepazoid.
Number 5. Puppet Time. Homestar returns a tape to Strong Bad, but he's not there because they hadn't built a Strong Bad puppet yet, so Homestar decides to ransack the empty house.
Strong Bad, I'm borrowing this milk for an undisclosed period of time. Strong Bad, I'm borrowing this squeegee type deal. Taking the guitar.
A lot of the puppet stuff on the site takes full advantage of the puppet medium by doing material that wouldn't really work with Flash animation, but this short is based more on the pre-established characters and their dynamics, so it still could technically work as a tune. There's no real unique puppety gimmick about it, but it does benefit from live action in subtle ways. The frantic motions of the Homestar puppet project a sense of urgency not often found in his animated motions, and the fact that in ransacking the place he's stealing actual real-life physical objects you might have in your own house just sells the gag a little bit further.
Cheat. I was just, doing nothing with nothing that belongs to Strong Bad.
Characters?
Character? You ain't got no character, Whitey. I'm out of here.
Number 4. To promote the Dangeresque themed chapter of Telltale Strong Bad game, the Brothers Chaps made Dangeresque Puppet Squad. And as someone who spent much of his childhood on terrible attempts to make terrible movies, I'm a sucker for all things Dangeresque. The running gag in Dangeresque material is how blatantly cheap Strong Bad's homemade production is, especially with its obvious stunt doubles, and this takes that notion one level more meta by reveling in how cheap the puppet production is, with its obvious puppet doubles.
I just drank that.
Looks like we're all gonna have to jump.
Looks like we finally caught the guy responsible for one time stealing my curly fries. Or did you?
I need those downloads on my desk by 5.
Going on my 7th coffee run. You want anything?
Number 3. One underrated recurring puppet segment is the Bizcast Fry series, showing Strong Bad's interactions with Homestar at the office where they both work whenever their whole indeterminate age thing skews more grown up.
Rondelman, you quack me up. Quack me up. That's why you're my D-O-G-E.
Your Doge? What are you talking about?
Or at least towards a kid's perception of what it's like to be a grown-up. Those naive children thinking job security exists. We've seen The Office before in cartoons and emails, and again, these sketches probably could have worked as cartoons, But whatever format they decided to put these in, they are quite funny. My favorite installment was the second one, where Strong Bad's apparently brilliant plan of covering the computer with Post-its is interrupted by an amazingly hungover Homestar.
Man, I don't even want to remember what went on last night.
Apparently you didn't want to remember to take a shower either.
And it all leads to an unprepared Strong Bad meeting with the perfect evil faceless overlords of their very vague organization.
So, let me tell you about this Post-it note. Listen tightly. This thing's gonna save the company millions. What about the earnings?
Seriously, what jobs do real grown-ups have?
This the kind of man we hire these days? He's a total liability.
Yeah, liability.
The store. Who are you? Well, I am the exact same.
Number 2. Now, the biggest advantage of controlling a physical character live, rather than animating one over time, is the ability to interact with guests. And no puppet segment is more enduring or endearing than the Little Girl series, where the characters interact with the Brothers Chap's niece.
I'm gonna kick you!
What? Oh, you want to kick me now? That's not allowed either.
Be careful with him. That's my only cheat that I have. That doesn't count as being careful.
That sounds like funny.
It sounds like funny, but it's not.
They're all funny and adorable, and yet surprisingly, my favorite one is the one that sounds like it would be the most awful.
Boogity boogity! I'll scare your pants!
Ew, Marshy. The personification of nightmare fuel. Putting this abomination next to a small child should be the most traumatizing thing one could imagine, but what makes it work is Marshy is powerless over the little girl. Little girl's cuteness actually manages to overpower Marshy's previously unbeatable creepiness. Or indeed, any creepiness.
Do you know the secret ingredient for my potion?
What is it?
Dry ice.
I think that just killed the magic!
And it's not just innocent naivety at work. Little girl knows darn well that she's putting Marshy in his place.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Vampire.
Vampires who?
Vampires are dumb.
How many times do we have to do this?
But she's sympathetic. She doesn't kick him when he's down.
Fucking marshmallows aren't real, but you're real to me.
And most importantly, they collaborate on the perfect pitch for Marshy's product.
Hey little girl, what's your favorite thing about Fluffy Puff Malloweens?
They're definitely like water.
Yeah, our marshmallows are just like water. Fluffy Puff Malloweens. Why ever drink again?
Email. Is it like a email pie of some kind, or maybe barf bags, all that good stuff?
And my number 1 favorite Homestar puppet short. Yes, improvising with a young relative is cute, but what about improvising with a musical guest star? The Puppet Jam series featured Homestar jamming with They Might Be Giants, as the Johns would lay down some music and Matt Chapman would move his hand while ad-libbing the sort of nonsense that only Homestar could say. And needless to say, with this pedigree coming together, the results were magical. And for my money, there's only one pick for the catchiest, funniest, and most haunting of all these songs.
Tropical laser beams of love. Tropical lima beams. Laser beams in Fiji. Maybe Tijuana, even though that's not really tropic. Laser beams in Tahiti. Tropical on the sunset.
And there you have it, my favorite Homestar puppet shorts. And I know Homestar updates of any variety are sporadic at best these days, but I hope we get another visit from the felt versions of our favorite Free Country USA friends soon. And until next time, this is Dave, signing off.
I'm always crying tropical laser beams. When you're away, it's like a void. I try to avoid it every time you're away. I put my lasers on stun. Because I gotta stun you. Just to get my point through. Laser beams. Laser beams.
Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And welcome back to the D-List's favorite Decemberween tradition, talking about Homestar. It's been a couple years, but we're back. So what's left on the site to rank? I don't know, Teen Girl Squad? Number 16, Issue 1. Okay, since most of the Teen Girl Squad issues don't have names beyond their issue number, this ranking system might get a little bit confusing. But hey, it's not Homestar if it's not a little bit confusing. Brittany sends Strongbad an email asking to make a comic about her friends. And perhaps fueled by resentment towards her misspelling of appreciate, or maybe just fueled by his own vaguely adolescent boy rage, Strongbad makes a comic where he kills off her friends. There's some early installment weirdness here, as I'm not sure if the Brothers chaps knew this would spin off into its own sub-universe with its own mythology at the time, so it's kinda jarring to look back and hear so-and-so have a real person's name, even if Strongbad immediately forgets that name. And while this isn't the only installment to show the aftermath of the girls' deaths, it doesn't happen that often in subsequent issues. But this did set the tone for the series and give us one of the most quoted words on the entire site. So I do like this first installment now, but it did take a little while for this sub-series' true potential to shine through. Number 15. Issue number 3. The girls go for summer fashions at the mall and thrift store. The series was still finding its footing at this point, and these early ones are kind of throwaway, but they each have at least one super memorable moment. In this case, the two lines I quote the most are What's-Her-Face's last two lines.
I met a possum. Good for you. Now let's attract some cute boys. Ready? Pose. My blood hurts.
Teen Girl Squad! The teenage girls between the ages of 13 and 19.
Number 14. Issue number 2. The girls get started with some fashion hot tips, but get distracted by a boy who dates so-and-so, while Cheerleader and Ugly One get jealous, and Thomas hits What's-Her-Face with the bat. Or What's-Her-Face gets hurt, depending on whether you go off what Strongbad writes or what Strongbad says. This issue already started breaking traditions by not killing off any of the teen girls, and this time the one to escape without any injury is so-and-so. Number 13. Issue number 6. For Decemberween and July, the girls do a gift exchange in a lion's mouth. What's-Her-Face is hesitant, but the judges are very generous. On its own, this one's not bad, but it was originally experienced as part of a Decemberween and July package, where it was a much appreciated stocking stuffer, but it was kind of overshadowed by the Sweet Cup and Cakes holiday special.
It's a miracle.
Number 12. For Greg's. There's some debate as to whether or not to count this as a legitimate TGS issue, but my list, my rules, I say it counts. The nerdiest boys at school go to the football game, where the football players will be powerless to ridicule or wedgie them, but of course things still go wrong. If there's any concerns that TGS is a genuine mockery of adolescent girl culture and not a satire of adolescent boys' perceptions of and reactions to adolescent girl culture, it's refreshing to see the Brothers chaps take aim at what I imagine was a lot closer to their own culture in high school. This broadens our view of the school as we get to see the Growlbacks game from a different perspective than the girls, and ends with one of those chaotically meta clusters that the Brothers chaps do best.
Good! It's over?
Number 11. Issue number 15. Everyone's getting ready for the Pretty Prism. Cheerleader has a non-Greg date, the arrowed guy actually talks to What's-Her-Face before sparrowing her, a cardboard cutout of Tenerinc's love entertains everyone, a sheep lies about how bad it is to be gutted by Manolios, and for the second numbered issue in a row, the Ugly One has a good time. And that's the last TGS thus far. 10 years ago. Wow. I know new Homestar content isn't released with quite the frequency it used to be, but I do hope we get to root for the Growlbacks again before too long. Number 10. Issue number 12. What time is it? It's Valentine's, hence the special red ink. Cheerleader moves her way up the Valentine's social ladder, while What's-Her-Face and Ugly One struggle with finding boys, and so-and-so gets upset about mispronunciations. Man, this reminds me of how little I miss the complex politics of Valentine's Day in high school. What truly sets this one apart is What's-Her-Face getting a happy ending with the wireless wizard. It's actually kinda sweet in that weird Strongbadian way. Number 9. Issue number 14. It's the last day of school, and everybody wants to see their yearbook picture, except for so-and-so, who has to form the head for her Scantron armor. The coach is nervous as ever, What's-Her-Face cleans out her locker, and the ugly one gets pranked until Quarterman gives her a John Hughes ending.
Ugly one, all this time I was looking around and you weren't right there in front of me. But I realized when I was looking around that you were right there in front of me all this time. Ugly one.
That makes so much sense!
Despite Strongbat's pent-up aggression, he occasionally seems to have a fondness for his creations, and I like how he ends up giving each of the squad at least one happy ending. Number 8. Issue number 9. Cheerleader makes friends with a girl with a learner's permit, but it doesn't end well for her. And now that she was finally the first one to die, the rest of the girls can do what they really want. But it doesn't go well for them. But at least Strongbat gets to sing.
BFF carved in a tree, that stands for powerful.
And we actually see the girl's afterlife for once. This issue not only gives us Mr. Pitters, whose voice and design are somehow both wildly off-putting and oddly endearing, but it also introduces the Gregs to TGS as Strongbat's comic book world is fleshed out just a little more each day. Number 7. Issue number 11. The girls go to summer camp, but for once it's not What's-Her-Face that gets left behind, it's so-and-so, as she has to wear Mark's name tag at shirt folding store and sell gifts for cough-anniversaries. This episode not only gave us countless quotables,
and it's a double play! Yay! That's not my wife.
Okay.
but it gave us a catchy campfire tune.
Anytime they one blade bear came tumbling down. Did he sell beans? Lord, no. Did he sell eggs? Lord, no. But he couldn't and he wouldn't and he shouldn't, so he stapled it down.
And it got so-and-so started on her life of crime. Number 6. Issue number 7. It's Teeny Tiny Girl Squad, as the younger versions of the girls are in daycare. This issue starts to expand the mythology of the TGS universe. A mythology Strongbat is making up as he goes, and he can't even always decide what to make up. It shows the girls' past, when Cheerleader wasn't always the top dog of the group, and introduces Tompkins, the first character who seems to be even lower on the social ladder than the girls. And it kinda crosses over with the Cheat Commandos verse, because all the Homestar sub-universes intertwine eventually. Number 5. Issue number 8. The girls enter the Battle of the Bands, and they prep by quoting Spinal Tap. They practice at Judith So-and-Soerson's house, and things get weird. Strongbat's typical violent streak comes into play here, as for the first time, every one of the girls is killed.
Everybody die except me!
Oh.
Ah, crap.
Strongbat might have issues with women. Then again, I guess he only knows one woman. But not only is Strongbat extra violent in this one, he's also extra weird. There was always a surreal streak in TGS, but this one tested the waters for just how surreal things could get. And yet at the same time, it still has the website's single most grounded and relatable portrayal of a mundane yet familiar part of the school experience.
And lunch today will be a rectangle of pizza. Pizza belongs in a triangle.
Number 4. Issue number 5. The rest of the girls go on spring break, leaving What's-Her-Face to hang out with the less aggressive Thomas. Cheerleader tries to make a play for older boys, while so-and-so goes tandem parasailing. Even in postcard form, birds just can't catch a break in TGS. The name of the boat still makes me giggle, and this episode gave us one of Homestar Runner's earwormiest earworms, and you know what a high bar that is to clear.
I miss video games. I miss my mom. I miss video games. I miss my mom. I miss video games. I miss my mom. I miss video games. I miss my mom.
Number 3. Issue number 13. So-and-so is babysitting Tompkins, whose doorbell quotes the Fat video, and the other girls crash the party. Cheerleader tries to invite some boys over, What's-Her-Face is stunned by 2 pantries, Ugly One summons PCP, and so-and-so's life of crime from issue number 11 catches up to her. This issue is full of some of the best little dashes of surrealism, and Momkin's instructions for the babysitter are part of my regular lexicon. And as much as HR Wiki refuses to admit it, I'm convinced that this line read,
"You're not my real father,"
is based on this line read.
You know what my kids would say?
You're not my real father.
I mean, Servo lives in free country USA. Strong Bad's gonna be influenced by him. Number 2, 10th Annual Anniversary. It's the 10th issue in full color and with a bit of 3D. It's the Ugly One's birthday and the guest list includes everybody. And while everyone else meets their usual fate, Ugly One's birthday makeover is so effective that even Strong Bad gets caught up in the action. With its visual gimmicks and its breaking of the format, this was more ambitious than any previous TGS issue. Maybe not quite as ambitious as Virus, but it was certainly the closest equivalent TGS had at the time. And it had the funniest, most perfectly timed cutaways of any TGS at the time.
Corn is no place for a mighty warrior.
The coach just called and said the Olympics are dumb. We'll be there like shareware.
I don't know what they're talking about, I swear.
This honestly could have been a series finale for TGS, but I'm glad they kept it going for at least a little while longer. And my number 1 favorite teen girl squad, issue number 4. School is happening again, and so-and-so gets to sit next to Brett Brederson. Cheerleader tries to date the quarterback, and What's-Her-Face and the Ugly One aren't cool. I'm gonna be honest, when the first 3 teen girl squads originally came out, they didn't do that much for me. So I just wrote it off as being not my favorite Homestar segment. But then this issue came out, and it was the first time I laughed out loud at a teen girl squad. While the first 3 issues all had 1 or 2 quotable lines each, this one was nothing but wall-to-wall quotability.
When you fall in a bottomless pit, you die of starvation. Y'all are so whack. Wiggity whack? Nope, just regular type. Good. Good. And great. Great and good.
And after this one, I finally got it. Something clicked for me and I was able to appreciate the comedic rhythm and voice of not only all subsequent teen girl squads, but also the 3 previous ones. So I will always have a special place in my heart for this issue, because this issue made me a fan of this sub-series of the website where I was already a fan of everything else on the site. And there's my ranking of the teen girl squads. Thus far, I'm still holding out hope that there will be more of them someday, but until that day comes, which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, it's over! Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And it's that time of year again. Time for our favorite Decemberween tradition, a Homestar Runner D-List. Now, 2020 has been a pile of what's it, but it has been a big year for Homestar Runner music. A nearly complete site soundtrack was added to all the major platforms, and there was the surprise drop of a new Sloshy album. So with all that in mind, I thought we'd go back to the first major release of a Homestar Runner soundtrack, not counting the handful of songs available on the downloads page, Strong Bad Sings and Other Type Hits.
For years, he's thrilled and captivated himself with his music. And now, it's your turn!
The idea of Strong Bad Sings is one of the earliest ideas on HomestarRunner.com, even predating the Strong Bad emails. It began as a fake commercial for a fake album, but then 3 years later, the Brothers Chaps defictionalized the album with the help of their friends in the band YOU. The album included newly recorded versions of some of the hit songs from the website, alongside expansions of some of the fake songs from the original fake commercial, and even a few brand new songs. Sadly, the album did not include even a single track of Strong Mad Forgets the Words to His Favorites, but we'll let it slide this time. And you know my siblings and I ordered this CD the second orders were available. I still remember counting down the days until the music arrived in the mail. Ask your parents. Then, 13 years later, the disc was stolen out of my car alongside all my other CDs, but even though I had already ripped it to my computer, and even though it's now available on all the streaming and download platforms, I just had to buy the physical CD again because look at this. Digital media doesn't do this justice. Vidalectric's equipment this consummate demands a physical copy. So today I'm going to rank every track from Strong Bad Sings and Other Type Hits. Number 21. Marzipan's song from the email named after her gets a punk rock makeover. I'm guessing Strong Bad didn't have a whole lot of creative control over his album if the song about how much the only lady he knows dislikes him made it onto the album one track before the biggest hit from his favorite band. Although I guess Marzipan didn't have that much creative control either if the girls immediately ignore her instructions.
Okay, girls, now this is a folky song, so don't play it too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Come on, backup band, what are you doing? The director of the music video accepted her input.
Did you help, do
Have you ever
the
been
art
to Florida?
direction on this one?
I did, actually. Thank you. I like the cheat a lot.
So if neither Strong Bad nor Marzipan are in creative control, who's in control of this album? Well, I have one theory, and it's someone with radio experience.
Hey, it's the Deathly Pallor coming at you on number 902 WA3D-FM, the Stern.
Don't get me wrong, this is a jam. But I can't help feeling like I might have preferred a longer version in the original style. Fortunately, the album isn't completely devoid of Marzi and Carol's folky tunes, but we'll get to that later. Number 20.
I'll answer the phone.
Now we get to the only Teen Girl Squad rep on the album. Despite the fact that the album cover is drawn on the same loose leaf as a typical TGS, but as far as we can tell, Strong Bad didn't try to first base it with this one. Anyway, in this track, What's-Her-Face gets a muffled call from Paul.
2, 3, 4. I think I have a chance at this guy. I think I have a chance at this guy. I think I have a chance at this guy.
I guess the album could only include one teen girl at a time, since the girls' voices aren't distinct enough from each other to be clearly recognizable in an audio medium. Yeah, Strong Bad's not quite the vocal chameleon that, say, Matt Chapman is.
Oh, hello, Mike. Check me out.
Easy there, Homestar.
The lyrics are pretty simple, just taking What's-Her-Face's catchphrase, I guess, and running it through a rhyming dictionary.
I hope I do a dance to this guy. I hope I put a trance to this guy. I think I'll lend some pants to this guy. Hope I go to France with this guy.
It's pretty catchy, but I don't know if it's a sufficient representation for Teen Girl Squad on the album. But then again, the album predates Teen Girl Squad's greatest earworm, so in retrospect, nothing could compete.
I miss video games. I miss my mom. I miss video games. I miss my mom.
Number 19. Okay, this was the song that threw me most upon first listen because I couldn't figure out what it was a reference to. It was only a few minutes later that we correctly guessed Tarantula was one of the band names introduced in the Spee-Mail band names, but we weren't sure why they were picked for a song. It wouldn't be another 16 years before we got a song from Big Knife. And it wasn't until even later when the DVDs came out and I watched the commentary that I learned that the guitar riff from the song comes from the Fingers Spee-Mail.
That's the song that became Movin' Very Slowly by Tarantula.
So I think that makes this the deepest cut on the album. It's also the longest song on the album. And I realize its repetitiveness is part of the gag, but man, this song really does move really slowly. Especially when it comes right after a song that already did the dragging things out gag and yet got to its punchline much more quickly than this. The music video on the DVD steered hard into the same repetition gag, but it at least had the decency to cut itself short. Maybe too short? It might have the exact opposite problem. The music video only makes it one line into the second verse. It's less than half as long as the actual song. That's like how Mystery Science Theater the movie is shorter than the movie it's riffing on. But then you listen to the actual song and that fake out fade out just makes you realize the song's still going. I mean, the guitar is great, the song sustains itself as a headbanger. I just don't think the gag sustains the length of the song. So I guess my criticism is that this song isn't particularly funny, it's just good. You know, it's just a showcase for the Brothers Chapp's considerable talents and not for their comedic prowess. Ah, well, it's fine, I can take a break from laughing. Number 18.
You've got an ugly butt and a stupid butt.
This song was heard briefly in the original Strong Bad Sings tune.
You got an ugly butt and a stupid butt.
And it apparently made such an impression that it inspired one of the earliest spee-mails, leading to the creation of the transitive butt property.
The stupidity of somebody's butt is greater than or equal to the stupidity of that person's head.
So naturally, such an influential song snippet needed to be expanded for the album. And it is expanded barely. Not so much expanded lyrically, as the central conceit is basically just repeated over and over, but it's expanded musically as they shift to a salsa breakdown.
Oh, girl, got an ugly butt. Hey. Oh, girl, got a stupid butt. Ooh.
Okay, there's not much to this track, but the genre shift makes it lively and fun, and really, when Strong Bad gets right to the point, what more needs to be done?
One girl got an ugly butt. Ooh. Every girl got a stupid butt.
Number 17.
Come to the place where the tropical breezes blow.
Our national colors. In this case, the song itself isn't extended at all, they just add some intro and outro dialogue, but the song is fleshed out with accompaniment from Mr. Cheaterson on the piano and Miss Parts Matter's first grade class. A very rowdy first grade class.
Jerome, show some respect. Spit that gum out.
Man, Jerome is just always going to be the class troublemaker, isn't he?
Class dismissed. Except for you, Jerome.
This track is cute, but it was a missed opportunity to not do it as a duet with Pablo Phoenix.
Lookout Ladies Productions presents Pablo Phoenix this Friday at the Civic Center.
There's probably lots of chocolate and population tire.
You guys can get low-fat, sugar-free chocolate skim milk.
Oh, come on, that's scarcely a chocolate milk at all. The word probably was doing a lot of heavy lifting there, huh? Number 16. A slight expansion of Strong Bad's classic techno song, so you can throw your own light switch rave with the stick and Candace Cameron Bure. There's some additional out-of-context quotes which flesh it out without changing the spirit of the original too much.
The system is taking over. Dance revolution.
And in true Strong Badian fashion, it kind of falls apart in the end. And we wouldn't have it any other way.
Sorry, I can't really keep that up for that long.
Number 15.
People try to fade me. Call me on my cell phone.
Coach C has been paranoid about people trying to fade him for a while now.
These people's tried to fade me.
These people tried to fade me.
And if you're trying to fade me, then you must smoke crack.
Scroll buttons. Oh, yeah, like that. Hard attack.
Hey, Coach. I wasn't trying to fade you. That wasn't me. I don't know who those peoples were.
And just to prove he wasn't trying to fade him, Strong Bad gave the coach his own track on the album. And it's better than we might have expected at this point, since we hadn't really heard much good rapping from the coach yet.
Coach C's got money, but not much. Coach C's got money, but not much.
Okay, I know "but not much" sounds like he's selling himself short, but over time we'd come to learn that Coach C's got money was actually a wild exaggeration.
Oh, crackles. I forgot to pay my bills again this year.
I'm so old school. 1, 2, 1, 2. They tore the school down.
Okay, that's not only a great line for this rap, that might be one of the greatest lyrics ever written.
Where my lasers at? Where my lasers at? Where my lasers at, y'all?
But what's really special about this song is that it is the focus of one of the CD's 2 Easter eggs. Namely, there's a Powered by the Cheap music video if you put the disc in your computer. Kids, computers used to have CD drives in them. It's the first of a handful of videos that the cheat would make for the coach, but it's more significant as the only visual Easter egg on the CD. Sure, there's only so many ways to do a visual Easter egg on an audio CD, but that does matter when it's the CD released by the website that thrived on Easter eggs. God, I'm gonna miss Flash. I hope that Ruffle project works out. Number 14.
They got the, what? We got the, what?
This is the first track on the album to not be a real song we've already heard on the website, but rather a song whose title we saw in the original Strong Bad Sings cartoon. A long, unwieldy title for a soul song with ridiculous build-up.
Dang. You don't look half bad. You clean up pretty nice. What'd you do, take a shower?
And then no actual song. The song called Let's Get Started is nothing but a failed attempt to actually get started.
Smell like apricots. Let's get started!
It's absolutely perfect, best song ever, 10 out of 10. Number 13.
Oh man, it's a sweet cup and cake!
Ah, the theme to the crazy cartoon that Strong Bad invented and then refused to animate and then ended up watching on TV somehow anyway.
Didn't I invent this cartoon?
Yeah, I think so.
Then how come I can't understand a lick of it?
It begins with the instrumental we know and recognize. And then it picks up with some characters whose voices we don't recognize singing about the show.
Have you ever watched it, Joe? Yes, this once I didn't know.
And then just singing randomness related to the show.
I can see where I am going. I think this is my last name. Cartoon friends are just a knowing.
Oh yeah? If cartoon friends are just say knowing, why didn't the Cakes cast show up in Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue?
There's myriad wild and wonderful ways to say no. No thanks. No
Hey, Steve.
Then we get the Bub's Voice wheelchair and the cowcopter, whose name is apparently Sherlock, going back and forth.
Have you ever watched a show?
And the Bub's chair ends things with some solid advice.
Everybody knows it, watch out for a Steve.
And we hear an A Steve that sounds way more like Homestar.
Hey, Steve.
But no, it couldn't be. Homestar denies all involvement with Sweet Cup and Cakes.
Homestar, is that you?
Don't count on it, Monster Man!
The manic energy of the song really fits the surrealness of Sweet Cup and Cakes, which, as I've said before, probably looks like what out-of-context Homestar clips look like to people completely unfamiliar with the site. Number 12.
So dangerous, so dangerous.
Strong Bad not only wrote, directed, starred in, and definitely 100% did his own stunts in Dangeresque 2, this time it's not Dangeresque 1, he even wrote and performed the theme song. And it sounds good enough to be any action movie theme, which it would pretty much have to because Dangeresque is every type of action hero.
He's a private eye, a crooked cop, secret agent, and a celebrity pharmacist, Dangeresque. If movies have taught me anything, he'll get the girl.
Strong Bad's own album has 2 songs where Marzipan makes a point of mentioning she doesn't like him. That's gotta sting.
He works alone, except when he works with Ronaldo, which is all the time.
Ah, now later on we would get a callback to that line.
I work alone, except when I work with Ronaldo, which is all the time.
Later on in the movie Strong Bad made, before he made the movie this song is from, the timeline's less confusing than it sounds.
That guy is dangerous, dangerous.
This song tells us so much about Dangeresque, I just wish it let us know whether or not he was gonna have to jump.
Or did I?
Number 11.
Somebody told me that you were so stupid.
Another song briefly heard in the original Strong Bad Sings tune, and another one that isn't terribly fleshed out lyrically, but it is wildly fleshed out musically. The original version barely had any instrumentation at all.
Somebody told me that you were so stupid, but I didn't believe them, but now I believe them.
But this jaunty little bluegrass number might be the highest energy of all of the expansions of songs from the original tune, and it really makes me want to get up and dance.
Everybody's stupid! Everybody's stupid! Everybody's stupid but me!
Well, if you knew everybody's stupid but you should have believed somebody the first time. Of course, I guess that means somebody is also stupid, so whatever.
That you were so stupid, but I didn't believe them, and now I believe them.
Worth noting, the album release of this song predates that other Somebody Told Me song by a good 4 months.
Well, somebody told me you had a boyfriend.
Too bad this one didn't end up on Polkarama.
You're not cool.
Number 10. Yeah, this album starts off right with a true classic. The original Dragon Email was a lot of people's introduction to the world of Homestar Runner, and the Brothers Chaps themselves are pretty sure that the song at the end was a huge part of that.
I wonder though if we had just, let's say we cut out the whole Trogdor metal thing at the end, if people would like, if it's Trogdor, just this bad drawing of a dragon, or if it's the metal and the like drawings.
Mostly the metal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it'd be funny to if we hadn't done that at the end, or if we'd made it an Easter egg even, so less people saw it.
So naturally, the album had to start off with the song they owe so much of their success to, expanded with a fuller instrumental that honestly makes it kind of hard to listen to the original version anymore.
Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants.
Man, early 2003 me would have been shocked that late 2003 me thought that didn't sound full enough. And of course, it's an extended version with an extra verse and a wicked dueling guitar solo.
It's like Squidly versus Needly over here. Go Squidly! Go Squidly! Squidly wins!
As soon as that CD arrived in 2003 and we pressed play, hearing that first scream, we knew we were in for an enjoyable half hour.
And the truck door comes and then
Number 9.
Oh my goodness. It's all gonna come to a head.
Well, the album began with Strong Bad's biggest hit, so of course it had to end with his other biggest number 1 jam.
And everybody to the limit, everybody come up for guys.
Yeah, I know Strong Bad assured Fahukwagats that their feeling of love was not mutual, but Fahukwagats sure seems to be living rent-free in Strong Bad's head.
Come on, Fahukwagats. I see you jacking me. Trying to play like you know me.
Now, of course, the original song was wildly catchy and had a very improv-y conversational feel, which is true of most of Strong Bad's phraseology. And now with the live version, you pile crowd work and stage banner on top of that, and this has the loosest feel of anything on the entire album. And it's great.
No way, man. I'm not gonna play those games. Mind games. Board games.
It wouldn't be for several years after this that Matt Chapman would have the opportunity to actually perform this song live a few times, but this feels so much like a real concert closure that I genuinely believe this is a live show bringing down the house.
We put the break it on down, put the break it on down, we put the break it on down. Come on, one time. Pretty good job of breaking it down there, guys.
And as it fades out, it sounds like the crowd is chanting for the album to start over. I mean, I'm okay listening to the whole thing again. Number 8. Oh yeah, Limousine! Of all the band names introduced in the Band Names Female, this is the one that really took.
Walking the streets, I got a feeling it's leather tough.
Now, before this album came out, all that we really heard of this band was a little snippet of the Eye of the Tigress chorus in the Monster Trucks female.
Hurrah, free performance by Limousine.
I got the heart of a lion and the wings of a bat because of the midnight.
Heart of a lion, the wings of some stuff because of something.
But now the song is expanded with mostly nonsense lyrics, listing the trappings of the hair metal lifestyle.
Liquid and leather in equal measure. Champagne glass mixing together.
Or just listing places in SoCal.
Sunset Strip, California, West Hollywood.
It's that perfect kind of style parody that's so accurate that if you didn't know anything about the world of Homestar, you might not recognize it as a parody. But it cements Limousine's place alongside Spinal Tap as one of the great fictional metal bands. Number 7.
It's like it was meant to be.
An original strong bad rock ballad that I swear I thought was from a title in the original cartoon, but apparently it's not. Come on, why you gotta Mandela affect me like that, strong bad?
I'm not kidding. It's like it was meant to be.
While the sound accurately captures rock ballads across the board, there's one part that seems particularly inspired by a certain request for continued belief. And once again, the Brothers Chaps use repetition and redundancy for a gag, but at least Strong Bad doesn't drag it out for nearly as long as Tarantula does. There's just enough variation in the phrasing to keep it freshly redundant, if that's not a complete oxymoron. It honestly reminds me a lot of one of my favorite Mystery Science Theater songs.
When loving lovers love.
Both these songs perfectly capture the sound of the genre they parody, while the character earnestly and passionately sings lyrics that say all the right buzzwords without any actual substance. Number 6. This song's title was seen in the original Strong Bad Sings tune, but it wasn't heard until the CD, and it packs 3 brilliant jokes in its very brief runtime. First, the bravado with which Strong Bad boasts about himself in the most moderate, restrained terms.
I am fairly great.
Second, the absurdly specific yet utterly meaningless boast that makes the title.
And the ladies in my town all know my name.
And third, the immediate backtracking as he reveals that meaningless boast isn't even accurate, ending on such a mundane reveal.
Except for this one girl, she thinks my name's Brian.
Oh, why would that one girl think your name is Brian, huh? Could it be because you keep hanging around Brian and that one girl gets the two of you mixed up because you're basically inseparable from Brian? Is that it? What can I say? Alexa's theories are really rubbing off on me.
Hey, Alexa, what'd you think of this?
Number 5. Ooh, oh yeah, kinda long hair band. Play those white blues.
Circles.
The demo for this song originally appeared as an Easter egg in the Spee-Mail theme party, and it was a pretty laid-back acoustic jam.
Oh, that skinny blonde girl.
So I guess Strong Bad and his kinda long-haired band decided to get some studio space to do a full version of it, which was significantly less laid back.
Stop it.
Like, listen to Strong Bad in the wrap-up of the demo, and then listen to how much more stressed he is in the wrap-up of the album version.
And the circles, and the ages, and the ages. Beautiful. And the circles, and the ages, and the ages. Ah, I told you not to bring that thing here. Beautiful.
But despite all the interband squabbling, they made it through a second verse, which truly encapsulates the college experience.
I had to borrow a parking pass. Working on the night staff.
I've ever wanted out of life is for some Jack Johnson sounding dude bro to do a straight cover of this song. Number 4. So let me tell you about the day our copy of this CD arrived. My siblings and I immediately put it in our CD player to listen to the whole thing. It was an old CD player, so old it didn't even display the time code of the track currently playing. There was just a little red light indicating that there was indeed a track currently playing. So we got to the end of Everybody's to the Limit, the CD was silent, but the red light was still on. We were on the edge of our seats. We had suspected that the website renowned for Easter eggs would probably have a hidden bonus track on it, and now it looked like one was coming. So we waited, and waited, and waited, and the payoff was glorious.
Secret song, I can't believe it's you.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love a good self-referential song, a song about the very song itself, and this is one of the best. And when he previously only showed up interrupting another song, I'm glad the title character of the website got to close the album for real. I love how it feels like he just wandered into the studio and somehow started recording, and it somehow ended up tacked onto the album.
You're the secret song on the album, secret song.
My only criticism of this song isn't even a criticism of the song itself, it's a criticism of a later release of the song. Why wasn't the music video on the DVD an Easter egg? Why was it a regular accessible bonus feature? This is supposed to be a secret song.
Secret song, I love you all night long.
This is the hidden track that all other CD hidden tracks have to live up to, and yeah, none of them ever will. Number 3.
Seems like just yesterday we were setting fire to Strong Sad's underwears. This one's for you. I got mad at the cheat.
Strong Bad's lament over his falling out with the cheat over the jumble caper and his simultaneous relief that it's not too late to patch things up gets a nice extended version.
I hope I don't see his name in the paper.
The first verse is pretty much the same as in the original Speemail, but the second chorus is where the emotion really swells, thanks in no small part to the surprise backup vocals.
The cheat is not dead. Well, where'd this choir come from? I'm so glad the cheat is not dead. The cheat is not dead. You guys sound great.
And then we get a good old-fashioned gospel breakdown that's almost worthy of the Reverend Cleophas James.
Oh, cheat's not dead. Cheat's not dead.
Number 2. Limousine's second song on the album, a tribute to going through life full speed ahead and taking risks. Or at the very least, taking risks on going out with the members of Limousine. And if you take these risks, you just might be rewarded with Ladies' Night at a club.
And when the sun goes down, there's a place around here with a sign out front that says, ladies and free, after 11:15 p.m.
This is another one that's more legitimately good than funny, but it's so catchy and upbeat and energetic that I can't help but love it wholeheartedly. And my number 1 favorite track from Strong Bad Sings and Other Type Hits.
Strong Bad, do you want to hear my song?
Hi, no.
Okay, here we go.
Marzipan sings a song about how much she likes bees. Strong Bad riffs on it until he's eventually won over.
But I'm especially sensitive to bees.
Hey, I'm the bee.
No, the goblin is. You categorically denied being the bee, SB.
Oh man, you guys are so stupid. You thought I dressed up as Debbie?
How can we trust you to run Strong Baddie if you can't even keep your story straight? What a flip-flopper.
Yeah, I really, really, really like bees.
I really think you're making this up as you go.
While this isn't the only brand new song on the album, it is the only brand new sketch. the only brand new interaction between characters one might encounter in a Toon. Or should I say, between characters that one might encounter in a Toon.
It's okay, cause they're cute.
Oh, cute and cute. That's even more advanced.
It's okay, cause they're cute.
Cute and cute.
Riffing on something that you yourself also created in the first place is kind of cheating under most circumstances. Anybody can dunk on someone if they just make that person as dunk-onable as possible. But this still works because the characters have been so fleshed out over the past several years, and the source of the humor isn't just the riffing, it's the fullness of the interaction between the characters. The song is so authentically marzipan, so flighty yet sincere without particularly caring how she looks to anyone else, and the riffing is so authentically strong bad, so harsh and snarky and a little bit clever but not always thought out all the way through. And Strong Bad's ever-repressed sensitive side comes out to play as he's won over by the simple truths about bees.
You can count on a bee to pay.
Oh, well, I will agree with that one.
And then Homestar's contribution is so authentically Homestar, so enthusiastically full steam ahead despite being totally oblivious.
All together now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I really like bees.
It's so many of the things that make the Homestar Runnerverse great, compacted into a single perfect track.
All right, don't tell anybody I sang along with you.
Okay.
But you can tell them I did.
No thanks.
And that's my ranking of the songs from Strong Bad Sings. But what's your ranking? And what's your favorite song from the Homestar Runnerverse that didn't make it onto the CD? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off. All right, I spent all last month diving deep into my favorite carefully crafted fantasy world with an overly complex lore. That was a lot of fun, but that was also really exhausting. So now I think it's time to scale back a bit and return to my favorite haphazardly crafted cartoon world, with an almost equally complex lore. Yes, welcome to the annual Decemberween D-List, the show where I list Homestar Runner-related things and my name begins with a D. So, what part of everyone's favorite internet cartoon are we looking at today? The physical media, of course! Late last year, the Brothers Chaps re-released the long-out-of-print strongbad_email.exe DVD set in a new package, containing all 6 discs in a single box set. And earlier this year, they re-released the Everything Else Volumes 1 through 3 DVDs in a similar manner. Now, as happy as I am that these DVDs are back in print, it's the same DVDs as before. They didn't, remaster them or change them in any way, and I did already buy them all in their original runs. And most of the bonus features from them are already available for free on YouTube, so as a responsible adult with a healthy sense of financial priorities, of course I didn't need to buy the re-releases. And yet, here we are. But I am really glad these DVDs are available again. If you didn't buy them the first time around, you owe it to yourself to get them now because they are jam-packed with wonderful features. 3D animated menu intros, commentaries, outtakes, abandoned cartoons, and of course, bonus females. And that's what we're looking at today. I'm ranking my personal favorites of the DVD exclusive Strong Bad emails.
Boring.
Number 7. Email birds. Back in the Tandy era, Strong Bad makes fun of 3 poorly written emails.
Okay, let's see if we can't kill a few email birds here with one big email bird killing stone. How are you? Why don't you make a joke? Kiss Bettina. I'm fine, Bettina. Why don't you make a sentence?
That's the whole thing. No other premise or gimmick, just cycling through a few that didn't provide enough material to be their own episodes, and barely provide enough material combined to be an episode. It's not bad, it's just very old school, before the emails got elaborate.
Homestar Runner's a total dork. Don't you think he's a total dork? I think he's a total dork. Jeffrey Gilligan. I agree. Don't you think I agree? I agree!
This is reminiscent of both Spring Cleaning, which might have been produced before this, and 50 Emails, which was produced after this but released before it. And while it's not quite as good as either of those episodes, it does have its moments. For my money, Why Don't You Make a Sentence is an all-time great Strong Bad quote, and the whole thing wraps up in a foreshadowing of Thy Dungeon Man.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. I hope I find some scrolls. Or maybe a flask. Get dagger. Oh, you stupid game! The dagger you just told me about!
Hey, still less frustrating than the Hobbit text adventure. Yes, I played it since last month. It's on Patreon. You can go watch me attempt to figure out my way through that game.
That's metal.
Number 6. Accent. Joy asks why Strong Bad doesn't have his questionable accent anymore, and Strong Bad replies by referencing another character with a borderline offensive accent.
Joy, Misa, Arizona. Oh, yeah? Well, Misa thinks you need to stop her talking like that right now.
Look, in the real world, moving away from the original accent was absolutely the right choice for Strong Bad. Not only because that accent was really questionable coming from a white actor, but also because the later, more developed Strong Bad voice is just straight up a better performance. Less monotonous with more emotional range and more interesting inflections.
Maybe it has changed a little bit, but that's only because I've gotten more worldly and streetwise, right?
But of course, thanks to Strong Bad's deep insecurities, with a little assistance from Strong Sad's deep pessimism, Strong Bad becomes worried that this trend will give way to a more boring voice in the future.
According to my projections, at the rate your accent is changing now, in 5 years you'll sound like this.
Oh, hey all of you guys. I gotta save my weird accent! Wait, I'm gonna have a floating computer in 5 years?
I mean, maybe Strong Bad ended up having the Zappy in 2012, but since that was during the time of the Great Darkness, we'll never know.
I've called in a specialist.
Hey there, Springboard! I'm here to help you with your accent!
Oh, that's right, baby. It's the old reverse a job well done gambit.
First, we gotta figure out what makes your accent unique, and then exaggerate the behoozits out of it.
But, you know, way more violent than a job well done. That just had Clockwork Orange psychological torture. This has physical torture.
Competition. Ow!
You better try it again, or I'ma have him start working the kidneys.
I kinda love that Strong Bad will just be anybody's muscle, regardless of who he has to beat up and why.
So you give him one of these.
Religious corn?
Nah, it's a holy crop.
Religious corn is how just so many Christian metal bands marketed themselves.
Kurzi, are you sure rubbing sandpaper on my throat is really necessary?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, you won't be able to eat solid foods for a few months, but at least no one will bug you about your accent.
I do like whenever Homestar cartoons go meta about their earlier, crappier cartoons, but I do worry that there are a few moments in this email where the gag becomes less, ha, the old cartoons had dumb voice acting, and more, ha, this accent is inherently funny, which isn't a great look.
So until next time, holy crap!
But ultimately, the hard work amounts to nothing, as Strong Bad returns to his still gravelly but better emoted speaking habits within a week.
Something, Larry. Holy crap!
Just passing through.
Number 5. Greeting cards. In an early email originally made for an independent animation festival, Strong Bad is asked how to tell an incompetent independent filmmaker friend to give up. This was long before Strong Bad's deep dive into independent filmmakers and the difference between them and indie filmmakers.
We've all got no-talent friends who refuse to quit chasing their dreams.
Hey, that's not true. Some of us are the no-talent friends who refuse to quit chasing our dreams. Please support me on Patreon. I'm a mere shell of a human.
That's why I've come up with my own line of greeting cards for just such occasions. I've got ones for independent filmmakers.
On this special day, I thought I'd let you know how terrible your films are.
Sure, but what greeting cards do we use to tell you the greeting cards suck? Who greeting cards the greeting cardsmen?
People in terrible bands.
I'm sick of wasting my Fridays seeing your crappy band.
This email is short, but the part where they show the greeting cards themselves does set it apart from other early single joke spee-mails.
I mean, it's not like these people don't know they suck. Sometimes they just need a cute, friendly reminder.
Sounds like something someone who believes deep down that he sucks would say. Is Strong Bad just admitting to his own imposter syndrome with this? Does Strong Bad himself, deep down, fear that he sucks at everything he does? Does he just wish that somebody would simply say to him, "You're right, you suck, you should just give up and stop trying"? Is that why he's deliberately leaving typos in this email? Typos that he would years later call other people out on?
I mean, it's not like these people don't know they suck. Oh, if you want to be possessive, it's just ITS, but if it's supposed to be a contraction, then it's IT''S. Scalawag.
Are typos Strongbad's way of saying, hey, please look at me, look at how much I suck, because he's crying out for some sort of negative feedback because any attention is better than no attention at all? Look, I gotta bring my own theories to this, since it's gonna be at least a few months before we find out what Alexa thinks of this.
This could be the final straw that makes them give up and get some terrible office job instead. Or at the very least, go to grad school. You know, like, for an MBA. Or maybe try out for the NBA.
So really you just want to replace one hopeless dream with another? Is your greeting card scam funded by Big Basketball? Big Basketball being, I guess, different town pom-pom?
Ooh, look at me. I'm on TVD.
Number 4. Comic book movie.
Greetings from a kindred soul. Kindred soul? Sound like a religious metal band. You know, the kind that try and offset their religiousness with evil fonts and drippy graphics.
Kindred Soul is my religious corn cover band. Now, why haven't we gotten just as many Kindred Soul songs as Tarantula songs?
I've seen what they do to comic books in those movies, and it is not pretty.
Okay, yes, jokes about comic book movies are done to death, but now this has become a fascinating time capsule of an earlier generation of comic book movies and the jokes about them. At the time this DVD was released, Iron Man and Incredible Hulk were out, but that was it for MCU movies, so this was a completely different landscape for comic book movies than the current one.
First, let's go straight for the costume, in a move I like to call Leather Quest 2000. People may buy that our character has radioactive powers or is from another planet, but a colorful spandex costume? Are you crazy? No audience will accept that. Nope, it's one color, head-to-toe leather for our hero.
Yeah, it's easy to forget now that during the aughts, Raimi's Spider-Man was a bit of an outlier for having the character's costume look mostly like the drawing of the character's costume. The more common move was to drain all the color out of the costumes, or at least most of the color. And yet, despite being a parody of a pre-MCU era of comic book movies, this accidentally has one moment that is very prescient about the future of comic book movies.
No actor's gonna let you put a mask over their beautiful face for an entire movie. No, not enough. Little more. There!
It's not just me, right? That's Kevin Feige. That is straight up a drawing of Kevin Feige. This female about early 2000s comic book movies accidentally caricatured the man behind the 2010s evolution of comic book movies.
Instead of casting someone appropriate in the role, like Lan Handermanek, that's not a real actor or anything, I just like the sound of Lan Handermanek is strong bad man.
Well dang, now I'm really impressed that Pom Pom managed to land him for City, State.
Blind strong badman! Shut up, you! Let's hear your best. Steiny, get me a Danish. Shiny, throw me that donut.
Look, he's still better cast in this role than he was for Bubs.
I should eat a pony. Why make a really cool costume that we can shoot and light well when we can spend way more money getting someone to make a boneless, dead-eyed, constantly wiggling CG monstrosity?
That wiggling CGI cheat is both repulsive and mesmerizing. I can neither look directly at it nor look away.
Then you just write down all the best story elements from the comics on some note cards, throw them up in the air, and randomly pick like 10 of them to paste willy-nilly into a paper-thin plot with more holes in it than Halle Berry's Catwoman costume.
Okay, Catwoman. That's where they draw the line. That's the comic book movie that was so bad they didn't even bother thinking of a clever workaround for referencing it. They just straight up name drop it.
And don't forget the horrible video game version that tries to undo some of the damage you've done to the source material.
Man, just think about how much more this email would have to work with just a few years later. Strong Bad could mention, don't forget the post-credit scene that teases the future appearance of an obscure character that only nerds remember. Actually, I guess that pretty much just describes most Easter eggs at the end of Spee-mails. Number 3. Video games. Not to be confused with the earlier Speemail 94, video games. That one was about what a Strong Bad video game would be like. This one is just asking Strong Bad's thoughts on video games.
Video games actually teach you all kinds of new stuff. Think of all the words we've learned from video games.
See, but the thing is, this Speemail's biggest contribution to my vocabulary is the title. I keep calling video games video games to this day. I know it's not funny, but I can't stop doing it.
Now who could forget melee? Which I can only assume means a bunch of people's fighting. Like, all at the same time.
Making fun of video games has been an essential part of internet video for basically as long as there has been internet video, so some of these jokes about video games may not necessarily be particularly unique, but I enjoy Strong Bad framing these references as positive educational tools.
Plus, most video games provide a veritable what not to do of spelling and grammar. Just give a kid a video game instruction booklet and have him play Find the Complete Sentence.
Until he gets frustrated, not at the tropes themselves, but at the stinginess with which the tropes are doled out.
And who doesn't remember staying up all night to beat an end boss, only to be rewarded with a hearty congratulation? And they didn't even bother giving you multiple ones. Just a single congratulation they had lying around the video game place. Hey man, you gonna eat that last congratulation? No man, we're putting it in the game if you beat the end boss.
I do wish we got more of Wilbur and his coworker at the video game make place. The fact that we got them at all instead of the Vidalectrix guys leads me to believe that this Speemail was produced before the Peasant's Quest teaser, even if the DVD wasn't released until after. But now I want a crossover. The laid-back Wilbur versus the high-strung good graphics guy? Let's see them in a melee.
Oh, thanks. This'll really lower your grandson's GPA.
Number 2. Family resemblance.
Dear Strong Bad, I wonder what Pom Pom's family looks like.
Well, you don't need to wonder that. It was revealed in one of the very first cartoons the chaps ever animated. I mean, that is under the museum category, the same place that claims the king of town is Marzipan's dad, so maybe no character parents are canon anymore, but a few years later we would see a Pom cousin, so it can be assumed that it's still canon that most, if not all, Poms share the same basic shape. But that's not funny to think about, so let's make up some nonsense instead. Despite what he may claim, the stuff Strong Bad makes up off the dome only sometimes becomes canon.
Well, I'm sure they bear the same resemblance to Pom Pom that my family bears to me. Okay, Pom Pom's got an orange head, so I'm sure his brother's head would look like a bulldog.
Oh, so is Pom Pom's brother the dog he feeds every day? And Trivia Time is just the brand name of the dog dish? And it's the same brand name as the Trivia Time cookie jar?
Oh, and another sibling might very likely be a pair of headphones with a floaty face inside. You know, 'cause Pom Pom floats a little bit.
The description of the hypothetical Pom family is a classic example of Strong Bad's commitment to the arbitrary, right up there with the creative process behind Sweet Cup and Cakes. With absolutely no discernible reason, Strong Bad makes declarative statements and absolutely sticks with them. Just yes-anding himself into a corner and never once backing out of it.
Oh, and Pom Pom talks in bubbles, right? So naturally his parents would be a file cabinet.
Well, Pom Pom's original real family and Strong Bad's hypothetical Pom family do have one very big thing in common. Neither of them really went on to appear again after their introduction. But this email did introduce something that would become very important to the Homestar lore: board electrics.
Get ready! That's right. Get ready for Jerby Scat, the classic game of Oh No You Don't. Pick a card. Don't pick a card. Pick a card now. Jerby Scat from Board Electrics is great for ages 2 to filing cabinet.
The brothers chaps yes-handed themselves into a board game cover, so they needed a board game company, so they decided to give Vidalectrix a board game wing. Do you think the brothers chaps had any idea when they did this that 13 years later, they would de-fictionalize Board Electrics and release a real board game that would become the only Homestar product you can buy at Universal City Walk? What a wild path.
I wonder if Pom Pom would be cool if I started putting the moves on Stella Doo. She's got some hotness, methinks. That floaty face. Ooh. Oh, wait. She's just hypothetical. Why are all the best girls hypothetical these days?
Yeah, I ask myself that all the time before I met my wife. And I lived in a world that actually has more than one girl character.
All right, Choosy. Time's up. I'm playing Trogdor.
And my number one favorite DVD exclusive Strong Bad email, real live emails. Technically it's an Easter egg, and technically it's a puppet stuff, but technically it's also a spee-mail. On Disc 4, Puppet Strongbad is asked if Disc 4 is ever gonna come out.
Dear Strongbad, are you ever gonna make another DVD?
So Puppet Strongbad goes through the offices berating everybody who isn't done making the DVD yet. First Puppet Homestar.
I had to repeat the fourth grade.
Hey Homestar, are you recording lines for the DVD?
Lines? DVD? I don't know what you're talking about. You interrupted my activity. I had to repeat the
weird
fourth
on.
grade.
Then DVD author Ryan Starrett.
What's the holdup?
It's hard. It takes a long time.
Oh yeah? Guess what I takes? These last two croissants.
Then some fellow by the name of Mike Chapman.
What are you doing?
Hey, Strongbad, I'm taking a coffee break.
Ooh, is this the backdoor pilot for Coffee Town?
What have you been doing for my DVD?
I made all the cartoons.
Yeah.
I did the cover artwork.
Uh-huh.
I did a bunch of commentary.
Boring.
I invented you.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. What have you done for me lately?
And then we get a scene where Matt had to ADR a plushie and two puppets.
Deep impact.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Oh.
I cannot tell from the voices who is puppeteering right now, but it sure doesn't sound like Mike.
What do you do, man?
I do the voice of the Poopsmith, Homestar.
Oh my god, you're John Linnell?
Well, Leonard, I guess I'll just have to burn these DVDs myself. Oh yeah, these things will be done in no time.
And for better or worse, this gives us the introduction of Puppet Marshy.
This tickles.
This is my favorite of the DVD exclusive spee-mails because I think this is the best use of the DVD medium. This is something that at the time could only be DVD exclusive. Of course, these days we get just as much puppet stuff as cartoon stuff from Homestar, if not even more. But at the time this DVD came out, puppet stuff was a little more of a rarity. YouTube was only 5 months old, so live-action Homestar stuff on the website had to be much shorter and compressed to the size of a Fluffy Puff bite-sized nibbler. So longer live-action videos was the perfect thing for a DVD bonus feature. Something that couldn't feasibly be done on the site proper, and something that could give us an alternate venue for these characters we love, and a look at the people who brought them to life. And that's my ranking of the DVD exclusive spee-mails. But what about you? How would you rank these? And what other bonus features from these DVDs do you love? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off. Welcome to the December Wing D-List, the show where I list Homestar Runner-related things and my name begins with a D. Powered by the Cheat this year. Much like writers love writing characters who are writers, I guess animators sometimes love animating characters who are animators, as an excuse to get sorta experimental with the animation because it's an amateur animation within their animation. And the Brothers Chaps are no exception, using the Cheat to animate some more interesting offbeat things in the Powered by the Cheat cartoons. These are an excuse for the Brothers Chaps to veer away from the house style. Not everything has to look on brand. You know, this was after they started making everything look on brand. The early days, that wasn't a concern, but once it became a concern, they used Powered by the Cheat to make it no longer a concern, temporarily. So I'm gonna rank my favorite Powered by the Cheat cartoons. I'm only ranking tunes that are specifically Powered by the Cheat tunes. Like, the bulk of the tune has to be Powered by the Cheat. I'm not including, like, segments or Easter eggs that are Powered by the Cheat inside other tunes. It has to mostly be Powered by the Cheat, with only an intro or outro not in Powered by the Cheat style. Sadly, this means I'm not counting either of the Cheat's They Might Be Giants videos because in both cases he only co-directed. In one case with Strongsad, in one case possibly with Homestar? Is Homestar the Hattie Man? I'm not really sure how the show works. But let's go ahead and list the full-on cheatery.
Toons.
Number 11. Seasonal sweaters. Technically, this is an Easter egg in the Decemberween and July menu, but since it's an Easter egg in a menu and not in a tune, it counts as its own tune. And I set the precedent in the Teen Girl Squad list that Decemberween and July entries count as entries in the series, so seasonal sweaters.
Seasonal sweaters with presents and bows, snowmen and trees, and sometimes a bell. Oh, bell! Seasonal sweaters. Seasonal sweat.
It's short. It's very evocative of the Cheats' earlier video for Oh Yeah Yeah, which isn't on this list because it was an Easter egg, but this song's not quite as catchy as Oh Yeah Yeah, so it's the underwhelming holiday-themed sequel. But some of the sweater designs are cute in a tacky way, and the self-portrait of the Cheat knitting is adorable. The Cheat is very good at drawing himself. Number 10. Trudgemank. The Cheat finally has a client who's not one of the 11 people he knows, Tarantula. And unlike a certain other song we'll be getting to, this is deliberately featuring PCP. Mainly because Tarantula has money and very much.
Wait, how much?
I have no idea what the song means, but the visuals go hard, even if some are derivative of earlier Tarantula videos. But, you know, a good hired music video director makes sure that he respects the band's established style.
That's what happens when you're down with the trudge, man. That's what happens when you're down with the trudge, man.
And hey, this one doesn't drag out for too long, like certain other Tarantula songs I could name.
Game.
Number 9. Grumble Cakes. This is probably the simplest tune that requires the deepest backstory. So once upon a time, Kevin Grumble sent an email, and Strongbad thought that he deserved Kevin's Grumble Cakes.
If I could do that, then you owe me a batch of your special grumble cakes.
But all he got were cheat cakes.
I don't want none of those cheat cakes.
And the cheat cakes have their own jingle about how much better their customers are than the customers of Grumble Cakes.
Only liars and thieves eat grumble cakes, and those people go to prison. Just ask the cheat.
And then later, when putting together a time capsule, Strongbad recorded over the cheat cakes jingle, the jingle about how only liars and thieves eat grumble cakes, and he recorded a note to how much he wants grumble cakes from a girl he met at the batting cages.
Just ask the...
And then I guess the Cheat Cakes versus Grumble Cakes feud ended because for a DVD exclusive, the Cheat animated a video for the Grumble Cakes song.
Let me get them grumble cakes, and please don't grumble fake.
Well, now we know what a grumble cake looks like, or at least what the Cheat thinks a grumble cake looks like.
Get them grumble cakes, and please don't grumble fake. I just needed them grumble cakes.
But then even when you know the backstory, the song is just full of inexplicable specificity.
Over the river and through the woods, we gotta get that serum through, y'all.
Ah, was this all a cover for your plan to foil Perducci?
We gotta get that serum through.
This is one of those ones that's so far removed from the original joke that it's completely inaccessible if you haven't been following along. And that's kind of just how we like our Homestar content.
Anyways, turn around. It's your turn to bat.
Does make sense that it was a DVD exclusive, though. The people who are buying the DVD would be the people who would have been most likely to be following along.
Game.
Number 8. New Boots, formerly known as just Powered by the Cheat. The Cheat is experimenting visually with adding photographs to his animation and channels it into a cartoon about him getting cool new boots.
I can't believe what cool boots you have on. Where did you get them? Oh, I see. A cute girl and an astronaut gave them to you.
I don't know if the new boots are supposed to be like a metaphor for his new visual style, or if it's literally just he thinks it would be cool if he had new boots.
Thanks for calling me. The Cheat is wearing cool boots. Can I have my shoe back? Thanks, 1 million. Talk to you later.
So the Cheat clearly doesn't believe that Homestar just has blue soles taped to the bottom of his feet. I wonder where he stands on the long pants debate.
The Cheat! Get that man some soup! Okay, hot soup is on my eye.
I guess the Cheat took Steven's imaginary advice.
Get out of here, Nebulon. No one likes your style.
Thanks to the Cheat, we now know Nebulon's name.
Guy drops a couple of JPEGs in his cartoon and thinks he's like The guy who draws the Lockhorns or something.
And then there's just a bonus Coach Z video at the end.
Ladies all the time be asking me, Coach Z, how come you don't dance no more?
Like, this could have just been the whole thing, or just a thing on its own. Or it could have been an Easter egg, but no, it just automatically plays this Coach Z video the cheat made.
Hey, give me a chance to do a hip-hop dance. Give me a chance to do a dance.
Like, sure, it's shorter and a little more repetitive than the other Coach Z songs the cheat animated, so maybe it would have been too short to be on its own, but having it randomly cut to this, not even as an Easter egg, took me by complete surprise the first time I saw this tune.
Dance. Give me a chance to do a dance. Characters.
Number 7. The Cheat theme song. Ah, the one that started it all. A band called The Skate Party wrote a theme song for The Cheat on spec and emailed it to the Brothers Chaps. They dug it and they decided to animate it.
Who's gonna start a rock and roll band?
He just needs a name for his band. If only Homestar would do some writing today. And then read what he wrote.
The Cheat. The Cheat.
The song is a bit simple and was certainly later overshadowed by its old-timey counterpart.
If you've got a caper, then you know who to call. It's the Sneak. It's the Sneak.
But it's got a fun little beat, and the cartoon deserves a lot of credit for inventing Powered by the Cheat. Even accidentally.
Did we even decide that it was the cheat that made it until we kind of thought, like, oh, we should make it at the end? Like, I don't think we said, I think it was just set out to be kind of weird and bad.
Bad Flash video?
Yeah.
I kind of can't believe it ever wasn't the plan. I mean, of course, if the cheat gets his own theme song, of course he's going to animate the theme song himself, right?
This is the best video game I've ever played.
Characters.
Number 6. These People Try to Fade Me. I already talked about this song when ranking the tracks from the album, so now I'm gonna focus on the visuals.
Coach Z, 1, 2, 1, 2.
First off, props to the cheat for getting Coach Z's color right this time, not making him your usual pink.
These people try to fade me. Call me on my cell phone. I get busy. These people try to fade me. Call me on my cell phone. I get busy.
The dancing animation is actually quite impressive. The cheat is really flexing his muscles here.
Then your mother tried to show me all the laser crabs.
You know, I know a certain mad scientist who might take interest in those laser crabs.
I got to see the sweet doctor. Dr. Sweet. I got to see the sweet doctor. Dr. Sweet.
It's a solid Powered by the Cheat video for what at the time was the Coach's best song, and again, it's the only visual Easter egg that came with the CD, so it's an essential piece of the Strong Bad Sings experience.
These people drop a
I am over here.
Number 5. Strong Bad email number 87, Mile. After doing music videos and clips from other tunes, the cheat animated a Speemail all his own. And he made up a question about running a mile.
You'd better believe it, Seb. I can do cartwheels for a mile.
I like to think the cheat remembered mid-sentence that cartwheels would be much easier to animate than a walk cycle.
Here I go again on my own. Hey, Strong Bad, you jumped over some of my buses.
Along the way, Strong Bad encounters obstacles and encouragement.
Keep it up, Strong Bad. Keep up the pace.
Thanks for cheering me on.
And then he gives credit where credit's due. Or at least where the animator thinks credit is due.
Mr. Strong Bad, you won the mile. What's your secret?
The cheat. The cheat is a millionaire.
This didn't crack my top 20 Speemails, but I love it as a Powered by the Cheat take on Speemailery. And I love how the cheat makes it all about himself.
There have been parades honoring the cheat, but don't let that from stopping you from organizing your own.
And you know I love any time a cartoon throws in a Jay Ward tribute.
Now I am back over here.
Number 4. Rap Song.
Coach Z, RAP, accidentally featuring PCP.
You biscuit head, you ain't featuring me.
I said accidentally featuring PCP.
Coach Z has just become the cheat's most consistent client. Maybe that's why he has money but not much. He keeps spending it on animation.
Hey, wait, look, it's the rapping man. Came to do his laundry.
Presumably the Coach didn't start recording this track until after PCP accidentally showed up because the cheat had to recreate their voices for the intro himself. It's a dramatistration.
Got a rap song featuring PCP.
And here's where the cheat first experiments with a fisheye lens effect. Oh, that's gonna come back.
I don't even know whose song this is. It's mine! I thought I made that abundantly clear!
Even in his own song, Coach Z just gets no respect.
A glass of orange juice and a bowl of cheese grits. Oh, dang! That man had just ordered breakfast in the middle of my rap song!
Look, there's no more baller move than ordering breakfast in the middle of a rap song.
Here comes Daenerys Love with an R&B break.
My name is Daenerys Love, plus my name is Daenerys Love, divided by my name is Daenerys Love, equals my name is Daenerys Love, remainder 3.
It's been a while since I've taken algebra, but I think that equation is mathematically impossible.
Oh, your payment. How's about a nice slice of chin strap pizza?
Okay, no, that's not money.
I'm sad that I'm flying.
Number 3. Fisheye Lens. Remember 2014? It was the year I first started doing these lists, and it was the year that Homestar was officially confirmed to not quite be dead. April Fool's Day of that year saw the first update in over 3 years, and then a few months later, the first new non-holiday cartoon, the Cheats music video for Strong Bad and Coach Z's new #1 jam.
It's been too long since they had a #1 jam.
Yeah, you don't need to tell us it's been too long.
I'm sorry, did you just say womp womp? That's right, and you know what that means. I don't. Things are about to get bulbous.
This was a major moment in Homestar history. The moment we learned that even if updates wouldn't be weekly anymore, we still haven't seen the last of our Free Country USA friends.
It's better with the fisheye lens. Hey, that chorus wasn't kidding. Check out how cool my rap points look. With a fisheye lens, you don't need to know how to rap or skateboard or do anything well.
And the song itself is a glorious tribute to style over substance.
Look huge and my crew looks tough. We got bulbous hands. And bulbous feet.
It's always weird when Coach Z and Strong Bad are collaborating. Like, I guess this is an extension of their lyrical rampages, but this is much better than their lyrical rampages. Like, they are working together really well.
I can just put it, have it. I can just put it, have it. I can just put it, have it. I can just put it, have it.
Email.
The animation looks terrible. It's all jerky, like it was done by a 2-year-old boy.
Number 2. Trogdor was a man. Or Trogdor was Dragon Man, depending on if you're watching it on the website or on YouTube. This is one of many little tunes that was released to promote the Trogdor board game, but it's so good that I don't go into a Ralphie-like rage over it being a crummy commercial.
When the 70s there was a commercial for a board game. It was a terrible song of Trogdor.
It's a disco cover of the Trogdor song that was recorded when the 70s, which is a Homestar runner-turner phrase that ranks up there with the best of them.
The Cheat made a video. Does this sound like Strong Bad at all?
I'm pretty sure that was Mike genuinely asking after being out of practice, but the Cheat's also out of practice, so it works in universe. It's nice that the Cheat has crafted a world where the Dancing Brothers survived their coma. Strong Sad always has to get saddled with the Dancing Brothers, though.
Trogdor wasn't even around when the 70s. Strong Bad made him in the early 2000s.
Email.
What is that terrible voice? Is that supposed to be Homestar?
And my #1 favorite Powered by the Cheat cartoon.
Come on, football gods.
Everybody to the limit. What can I say? It's iconic.
Come on for Hogwarts, guys. Say come on for Hogwarts, guys. Everybody to the limit, everybody to the limit, everybody come on for Hogwarts, guys.
This was one of the earliest Homestar cartoons to go viral in a way that eclipsed the popularity of the email it's a callback to. Like, people had heard and loved this song without even knowing what Fahugu Gods means. That's just the power of a good earworm.
I don't know who it is, but it probably is for Hogwarts, guys. I asked my friend Joe, I asked my friend Jake. They said it was for Hogwarts, guys.
The song is catchy, the visuals are funny. I have no particularly fresh takes on this. It's just an all-time HomestarRunner.com classic.
I'm buying you a pizza.
And that's my ranking of the Powered by the Cheat cartoons. But which one is your favorite? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off. Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. It's time for a Decemberween D-List again, and it's time to update the original Decemberween D-List. On December 23rd, 2014, I released a list of my top 20 Strong Bad emails. Since then, there have been 4 new emails, mostly on April Fool's Days, and they've all been fantastic. And mostly been long, at least by Speemail standards. So now I'm going to rank the Strong Bad emails that came out since the first time I ranked my favorite Strong Bad emails, and I am going to place them on my original ranking list. Let's get started. Number 4, Speemail 206. On April 1st, 2015, 1 year after the return from hiatus, Strong Bad checks an email asking when he's going to check an email.
When are you gonna dust off the compe and answer an email? Matt Massapequa. Wait a minute. Have I not always checked my email on kitchen appliances?
Well, there was that one time you checked email under a kitchen table, so I understand the confusion.
Whoa! All that dust compressed my old computer into a newer, even better computer.
So the extremely brief Compe run comes to a long-delayed end as the Compe is compressed into the Lappier. But Strong Bad can't log on once he realizes what day it is.
What? April 1st? Oh man, I can't check my email today!
And then it ends up playing like a regular Strong Bad email, just imagining that someone asked him what he thinks of April Fool's Day and not when he's going to check email.
Homestar, everybody knows the internet already ruined April Fool's Day. On February 7th, 2008, ironically enough.
And the cliche internet pranks bring out Strong Bad cynicism and Homestar's sincere enthusiasm, a classic comedy dynamic.
But it's the day the internet gets on the internet to make inside jokes about the internet.
Especially when it's the sincere enthusiasm that leads to self-deprecation.
And I can't wait to be so fooled when my favorite website looks like it's from another time period.
Oh, man. This looks just like one of them flashy cartoon websites from 2002.
No, shut up. I haven't done it yet.
Insert a baby.
Oh no, I'm not falling for that prank again.
Well, fine, but if you don't, you're gonna have to answer the Keeper's Trog trivia down the line.
And don't forget all the great fake movie trailers we get to suffer through.
Yeah, fake trailers on April Fool's Day suck. Fake trailers should only be released during the Super Bowl halftime. I didn't mean to make 2 Peasant's Quest references in a row, but it's never far from my thoughts.
Too dangerous!
Okay, but unlike that fake IGN Zelda trailer, this one actually got familiar actors we recognize from this franchise.
Too dangerous. But that equals...
I find it a subtly hilarious touch that the visual effects in this fake trailer are infinitely better than the visual effects in any of the actual Danger-esque movies. Like, not only is there competent split screening, but Ronaldo appears in front of the duplicates with no visible green screen artifacts, meaning the effects are also better than mine. On the other hand, maybe there are no visual effects, maybe there really just were 2 Homestars and 2 Strong Bads in person on set. It's happened before in Speemail cutaways. And it's happened to Homestar. A lot.
What's up, man? Step! Oh, save you!
Remind me to tell you about my Homestar is a forgetful time traveler theory sometime.
Danger-esque 4 divided by 2 equals 6.
That math still checks out better than the my name is Terrence love equation, but somebody needs to brush up on their rabbit algebra. I know that counts as another Peasant's Quest reference.
We don't want to forget about the fake ads for nerd culture products that don't really exist.
Okay, I'm not going to reference Peasant's Quest this time, because the Speemail itself is going to.
And you'll look rather dashing in this burninated peasant zip-up trench hoodie.
So, to quote Strong Mad,
"This one's not my fault." It's only fake unless enough of you say you'll buy one, in which case support my crowdfunding campaign.
I tell ya, that Think Geek Tauntaun sleeping bag was the point of no return for the commercialization of April Fool's Day. But Strong Bad ignores what the world tells him to do and chooses to remember the true meaning of the holiday, harming his friends, no doubt making Andrew very happy.
Get me down! I'm scared of heights!
I don't think we talk enough about how Strong Mad is actually a sweet, innocent cinnamon roll.
How am I supposed to get inside my car?
How am I supposed to get outside my apartment?
Okay, that prank on Coach Z made a lot more sense than whatever was going on with the Andy Cap hot fries.
Hey, and look at that! Now I can check my email.
All right, boxing gloves. Get ready to work your inexplicable magic. Check my email on computers. No toast.
Were I to add this to my original list, I would slot it right between number 14, theme song, and number 15, Japanese cartoon. That's right, I like this one more than Stinko Man. Number 3. Parenting. Released on April 1st, 2022, but with no actual April Fool's Day acknowledgement, this was actually part of a Trogdor-related pledge drive, but not for a hoodie or backpack.
I'm about to become a dad.
Boy, all of us in the Homestar audience really are getting old, aren't we?
Turns out we all had to try out some child rearing in one of the nebulous health classes that we for some reason allow Coach Z to teach us.
The fake baby class assignment is a classic sitcom trope, and this is a fine sitcom episode, just going between all the subplots of all the different characters doing their best to keep these fake babies alive.
We were all given sandwich bags full of banana pudding to take care of as practice for raising a baby.
Usually in sitcoms, the fake baby is an egg, but, that's not specific enough to be funny. Besides, first they'd have to ask, where's an egg?
All right, potential parental units.
Hey, a good person is my second favorite sign gag we're going to talk about today.
You all have your RHBs, or as we in the medical field call them, real human babies.
I don't know why the babies have to be human when nobody else here is.
Oh, sounds pretty good. Did you hear? Pistachio pudding, bag of pudding. Have you heard the latest news? Not a bad pudding. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal. What'd you say? I wasn't listening. What? I can be a one-man hubbub.
This one's full of really sharp jokes. Like, so sharp they'll only be approved by 70s pediatricians.
Say there, local proprietor. My co-parent and I were wondering if this is a family-friendly establishment.
I love that the YouTube description elevates this to B-story.
You have no idea what you're talking about, and I disagree with everything that comes out of your mouth. You lump of underbitten cluelessness.
Oh, Marzipan, you should have dumped him again before health class. He could have partnered with Pom Pom on this project.
Strong Mad, did you tape the baby to a tablet so you could play video games on a different tablet for 6 hours?
A different, more expensive tablet!
Pro.
Even when he's a neglectful father, he's such a sweet little cinnamon roll.
Is that the kind of messed up stuff you're teaching there at the Star Runner household?
Okay, a couple years ago I did this dumb parody poster where I replaced Skywalker as a last name with Star Runner, and Strong Bad commented on it, so I can't prove that I inspired him to use Star Runner as a single last name, but you can't prove I didn't inspire that.
Look up here, sweetie. Can you wave?
Everybody say the cheat.
The cheat.
This is the longest email, and yet not a single second is wasted.
And so, Mike Morkelson, I don't know if that's your last name, but you just seem like a real Morkelson.
And I feel like it may have been longer at one point, because this short that was released a little earlier feels like it might have been a deleted scene here.
Making the sun rise out of some dives.
And then in the YouTube version, at the end, we get an Easter egg with a very rare live-action cameo from someone who's not Matt, Matt's old boss.
Next, we got a crowd fleeing a meteor. If you could sprinkle in a few old ladies.
Okay.
Anytime you're ready.
Got it.
Little late to be recording ADR for Weirdmageddon, but hey.
Next, we got a courtroom, maybe scandalized murmur for added difficulty throwing a bailiff.
Yo, Arnold, did you eat my tuna sandwich?
Rest in peace, Richard Mall. We spin our buzzers in your honor.
Excuse me?
No, not deep.
I can hear what you're saying.
That one was weird.
It's really
Poppy peas.
unprofessional.
Of course, Ruffle still has trouble with video embedded in Flash files, so the Flash version has a different Easter egg with the only Bubs cameo in this thing. But, I mean, Bubs dressed up as Alex Hirsch once, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah! Shut up, Seuss's abuelita!
I would put this just after number 11, Theme Park, and just above number 12, Date. Number 2, The Next April Fool's Thing. On April 1st, 2018, Folly comes out of the rejected girl character files to pitch the next April Fool's cartoon, with audio that was apparently recorded right after the first April Fool's Thing after hiatus.
And then there's a loading sign, and it loads for like 100 seconds, and then And it loads for 100 seconds.
And then in the middle, there's just a non-April Fool's related Speemail that was only disguised as an April Fool's thing.
What do you do to keep up your personal motivation and inspiration?
And then we get like 3 overlapping but largely separate premises that each could have been their own Speemail, but they all work together to make something truly magical. First, Strongbad talks about typical inspirational methods.
There's also that weird jocked up thing of punching yourself in the face to get motivated. But unless you happen to have boxing gloves for hands, I wouldn't recommend it. You can do it, Strongbad! You can talk to orange juice! Oh, no, Strongbad, wait!
Such a sweet little cinnamon roll, just wants to talk to Orange Juice. I hope he gets to someday, he deserves it.
As for the inspiration, you know how people always say, inspiration sneaks up on you. Well, I like it to turn the tables.
Then we get Strongbad sneaking up on Bubs, which also could have been a full Speemail if they explored Bubs' different ideas further.
Ah! File! Yeah? Folder? Yeah? Shaped vitamins? Now that's inspiring.
They easily could have done another 4 minutes on this, but then we move on to the final conceit and the real magic here.
Always beating and doozing, never cheating or choosing. Always beating and doozing.
Homestar?
Never cheating or choosing.
Homestar!
Yeah, what?
You're in my house.
Yep.
Again.
Yep, was.
And you brought a boulder.
Not me. Play tectonics.
Homestar becomes a motivational cult leader. This could have fueled a whole new series on the site, let alone a tune of its own. It's utterly fantastic.
Always beating and doozing.
You say that like it clarified anything.
Rules for an inspired life, Strongbad. No matter what you do or where you are, always beating and doozing.
I will say this cult still feels less culty than the Broternal Order does.
You believe in the message now. I really do.
Always Bees Doozing 3-day life cleanse seminar at Bumsford Inn and Suites Conference Center.
The extremely clumsy portmanteau that is Bubsmfurt makes me physically uncomfortable, but in a way that amuses me.
If you're not attending, you're gonna be lending your neighbor a yard tool, like a shovel or a rake.
Look, Homestar's methods may be unusual, but they got Strong Sad to beat Clapping Party.
Always beezing and doozing and never cheesing or choosing and always... Hey, I beat the end boss.
I would slot this right below Little Questions, which I put at number 8, and right above Kids Book, which I also put at number 8. I had 2 number 8s on the list, and I did not notice for 9 years. The top 20 Speemails video actually lists 21 Speemails. Literally nobody pointed that out to me, and I didn't realize it until I was revisiting the ranking yesterday. Anyway, here's a third number 8 for you, I guess. And my number 1 favorite Lappier-Era Speemail, Too Cool. The only non-April Fool's Day Speemail released in the past 14 years is Speemail number 207, Too Cool, released August 14th, 2017.
Let's not make a big deal out of this. It's just a little Strongbad email.
Strongbad, I don't know why you bother telling us not to do things that you know very well we are going to do.
Why doesn't Sonor Card Gauge have a video in the characters section? Is he too cool to be on camera?
I mean, Homestar just barely has one. Is it really that surprising that Card Gauge wouldn't? The announcer's been around since day one. Where's his character video?
Let's meet our smoking hot contestants.
Strongbad lists some things Card Gauge is too cool for.
Knowing dead animals don't make good knee pads. Put me in, Couch Z. I'm ready to pay.
I would pay so much money for a full Card Gauge Sings Fogarty album. Make that your next nerd culture Kickstarter.
Now entering the game for Team Knee Pads.
Team Knee Pads is such a perfect gag here that I almost always forget it actually predates this email. It was a pre-existing part of Homestar lore that just fit right in. And it's only topped by the next joke.
And being out of the way?
Excuse me. Pardon me. Laddo. Got a laddo. Excuse me. I have a laddo.
I can't fully explain why, but The arrow pointing to ladder might low-key be my favorite Homestar joke of all time. Where is Homestar going with that ladder? He's going to where the ladder goes. Just all we need to know is that Homestar has the ladder here, and the ladder is supposed to be over there. You can tell there's a sign pointing toward it and everything. It's just so elegant in its simplicity. Without it, the scene doesn't work nearly as well because we don't know the stakes. Why is it so important that Homestar carries the ladder over there? Who cares where the ladder is? But now we know. That direction is ladder. So it is of vital importance that he carries the ladder there, and it just makes his frustration with Senor Card Gauge being too cool to be out of the way just all the more relatable and palpable, and it's just such perfect, brilliant, dumb joke writing.
Being in a character video is not something he's too cool for. I should know. I filmed the thing ding.
So we get a behind-the-scenes look at Card Gauge's character video.
I got my camera all set up and I bronk my own. Oh, you want me to use this to record your character video?
Oh, so Strong Bad's been holding on to Kevin's stolen camera for no reason then? To say nothing of Marzipan holding on to his Trivial Pursuit 80s edition?
The next day, this mysterious package shows up. It was some kind of videotape cassette, a short-lived format called Beta Flop D. Apparently made for use only inside Tom Brokaw's house.
NBC Nightly News anchors get all the best exclusive formats. You haven't truly watched Citizen Kane until you've seen it on a video disc that only works for Lester Holt.
It took over 400 different adapters to get that thing to plug into our TV.
So they play the video and then, well, there are no words.
I'm Saran Card Gauge, the lead star from Character's website. I'd like to introduce you to the family might could.
The family might could, as in, you might could die.
Thanks, package sirloin. See? Card Gauge is so cool, his character video probably cursed us all for life.
And then we flash forward to either next year or the year after that, and there continue to be no words. Well, there is one word.
We're going to need to start talking about tertiary investments and...
Look, all 4 of the emails we've gotten so far in the Lappier-Era have been great, but this is art. This is a genuinely unsettling horror comedy, and it's brilliant. And again, it has a sign pointing to ladder. You can't beat that. I would slot this right after number 3, Army, and right before number 4, High School. This is a top 5 spee-mail for me.
Rated F for folks.
And that's my ranking of the Lappier-Era Strong Bad emails so far. How do you rank these? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off.
Secret Song.
Yes, the hidden track from Strong Bad Sings and Other Type Hits, an album I've already talked about at length. And it's an ode to itself as a hidden track, as Homestar Runner sings a love song to the very song he's singing.
You're the secret song on the album, Secret Song.
Part of what makes Homestar Runner such a fascinating character is his unique blend of extreme unawareness and extremely precise awareness, especially genre awareness.
Secret Song. I love you. All night long.
I've already said basically everything I have to say about this song when I talked about the album, but yeah, I still like it.
Wait. Good enough.
Bienvenidos a Armchair Imagineering. ¿Conoces a Miguel? Sí, somos buenos amigos. Look, I'm just as surprised as you are that it took me this long to pitch a Homestar Runner ride. Believe me, I've been thinking about it for ages. I've even teased it in the past. All I can say is I'm sad that there is no Homestar theme park attraction yet, but that may be the subject of a future Armchair Imagineering down the line someday.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Ooh,
I mean, we already
very
know
excited
what the
about that.
Strong Bad Jungle Cruise would look like, so.
Yes, yes. And the time has finally come to pitch it to you. It's a Decemberween in May miracle. So what would a Homestar ride entail? Well, you'd probably enter through the King of Town's castle, then you'd wind through a queue that took you past such familiar zones as a peanut-style brick wall, a bit of strong Badian fence with the occasional bear holding a shark popping up, and a table with an answering machine playing messages for marzipan. After you get to the front of the queue, you'd get to the pre-show room with a rotating selection of possible safety videos, a teen girl squad where the girls disobey the safety rules and face violent deaths, a cheat commandos where Blue Laser Commander disobeys the safety rules and faces violent deaths, a powered by the cheat where Homestar disobeys the safety rules and faces violent deaths, and of course a Strong Bad email where a sender asks Strong Bad how annoying it is when people don't follow the safety rules. So he writes a children's book about it where the children face violent deaths. Then you'd get to the loading station where the music is, of course,
It's the loading.
Room,
It's the loading.
Room,
I can't believe this.
Room,
Install the loading.
Room, and you'd load into the vehicle, which is a wagon. The seats are pancakes. What would the narrative of the ride be? Well, there's one narrative format baked into the DNA of Homestar Runner. It's not one the Brothers Chaps use all that often anymore, but it's the format the entire world was initially built around. I refer, of course, to preparing for a competition. Your wagons full of pancakes are competing in the championship, so the first room you enter is the gymnasium, where animatronic Homestar is there in his Homestarmy getup, drill sergeanting you about how you need to pour on that exercise in order to win the championship. Do you has what it takes? Obviously, animatronic's Homestar's eyes would be projection mapped, while the floating spoon would be controlled by very hard-to-see wires. You then move into the locker room, where animatronic Coach Z is mortarboarding you to hustle for sport. Fortunately, you get out of there before he gives you a good old butt pat. Now, the training montage portion of the ride begins. You enter the obstacle course. Your wagon navigates around the tires as animatronic KOT hangs in a tire swing. You move around the athletic field while animatronic the cheat is hitting stuff with an animatronic golf club. Then your wagon climbs up those stadium steps until it reaches the peak. And animatronic Bubs tells you climbing upstairs will be $5. Then the next portion of the ride is the Free Country USA race to the end of the ride, as animatronic the announcer announces the beginning of the competition, 4 reels this time. And much like Radiator Springs Racers, 2 wagons full of pancakes speed down the throughway against each other. Unlike Radiator Springs Racers, however, this portion would also include brief appearances from characters along the sidelines as you rush past them. Strong Mad will growl at you, Strong Sad is sad that you're racing, Pom Pom is making it rain, and Marzipan and Carol are playing a racing tune. Then your vehicle pulls into a dark dead end, and slowly a light fades up, revealing either Homsar, Senor Card Gauge, or the Blubbo's drive-thru whale. Whichever character you see recites a sinister non sequitur, and then the floor below you drops, Rise of the Resistance style. Or if that's too expensive a trick, your vehicle launches backwards, Revenge of the Mummy style. After the drop or the launch, you finally see an animatronic Strong Bad with a monkey wrench, having sabotaged the track so that he would win instead of either of you. He makes fun of both ride vehicles and says you're all losers. You pass the final room with everybody, and Homestar says he really hopes you enjoyed this tilt-a-whirl, or some other incorrect description of what type of ride it was. Also, the Halloween overlay would be exactly the same ride, except all the characters are dressed up as other characters whatever park it's in has the license for. So if this ended up in a Disney park, then they'd all be dressed as Disney animated characters and Marvel and Star Wars characters. If this was in a Universal park, they'd be dressed as Minions and Shrek and classic Universal monsters. If this was, God forbid, in the Six Flags, they'd be dressed as Batman and stuff. If Paramount Park still existed, they'd be dressed in Star Trek uniforms. And during Halloween, the Goblin would be added to the characters you're racing past during the race. Also, whenever the ride breaks down, instead of hearing Exitencio tell you about playful spooks, you'll hear Homestar talking about how your ride is very important to us and please wait patiently, and then he'd sing,
It's the whole music. Hold music.
Then you exit into the cheapest free gift shop, where whatever theme park this is in has given them the budget to finally start making those Kick the Cheat dolls again, because some of us missed the window on those the first time, and I think that would be a perfectly satisfying Homestar Runner attraction. Unfortunately, I don't think any major theme park is ever going to invest this much money in an e-ticket based on a seldom updated internet cartoon, so a Homestar Runner ride is unlikely at best. Which is why Homestar deserves an entire theme park, not just one ride, a whole park full of them. Alright, I'll meet you back here next month for my pitch for a Homestar Runner theme park, which is different than Strong Bad's pitch for a theme park. But if you don't want to wait a month, you can watch it on Patreon right now at the link in the description. And in the meantime, you can also watch my other Homestar Runner videos and my other Armchair Imagineering videos. And until next time, this is Dave, signing off. Previously on David Gansel's very own quite popular Armchair Imagineering show. And I think that would be a perfectly satisfying Homestar Runner attraction. Unfortunately, I don't think any major theme park is ever going to invest this much money in an e-ticket based on a seldom updated internet cartoon, so a Homestar Runner ride is unlikely at best. Which is why Homestar deserves an entire theme park, not just one ride, a whole park full of them! I know Strong Bad already did some Armchair Imagineering of his own, and I've already talked about his Armchair Imagineering. The other difference between Bowels of Trogdor and Disney attractions is apparently Bowels of Trogdor catches fire on purpose.
Yep.
But I think we need a theme park you can bring your grandmother to. So let's design Homestar Runner's Free Country USA, the theme park. Obviously, the gold standard of theme park layout is the Disneyland-style castle park, and it begins right at the entrance. There's something perfect about entering the gate, seeing that floral Mickey in the center, and then going through the tunnels on either side of the beloved character to fully enter the magical world. It's such a perfect design that it's kind of already the design of HomestarRunner.com too. Character in the center, entrances on either side. So we'd have floral Homestar and entry tunnels. I guess the watch intro entry tunnel would have everybody playing on an endless loop. You could have cool LED screens on the sides, that would be neat. Then we could continue parodying Main Street USA's old-timey throwback aesthetic with Free Country USA's old-time Jones Alley. So a couple of 1936 buildings with gift shops. Probably more to eat there than parsnips. Now, this could lead to the KOT's Castle, again if we're keeping the Disneyland parody going the whole way, and I know I pitched the KOT's Castle as the exterior for the standalone ride because it's probably the most iconic big building exterior in Free Country USA. But let's be real, does the King's Castle really warrant being the hub of the whole park? Is it that central to the Homestar lore? I say no. There is exactly one location that is so iconic that it deserves to have Free Country USA revolve around it, and that is, of course, the Stick. Yes, the central land of the park would be the main field that seems to comprise the majority of Free Country USA, with the Stick at the dead center. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't the Stick too small to really be a weenie? And yeah, fair, but if we also get Strong Badia there, that would draw people in. I know neither of those things really have the height to serve as a central location to draw everyone from all corners of the park, but I mean, neither does Sleeping Beauty Castle. This only became an issue in like 1971. Now, the bulk of character meet and greets would naturally occur at the Stick, world-renowned for its hanging altitude. You'd get to meet mascot characters of Homestar and Strong Bad, as well as mascots of the characters dressed up as other mascots for that extra meta layer. Other photo ops throughout the area would include the River Quest Safari Venture, Kazoo and Carrot Hill, and of course, a stand with onion bubs. Look, an actual Disney park has a popular photo op with a plain potato. This is not so far-fetched. And there's no shortage of food service opportunities. Obviously, you could go to Bub's concession stand for a Homestar Jr., or go to Marshmallow's last stand for a mug of Hot Jones, or hit up the Piz for a slice. And you can talk to the Blubbo's drive-thru whale, but you can't actually get any food from him. Plus, there would be the Videopolis-esque nightclub, Club Techno Chocolate, and the concert stage featuring nightly appearances from Cool Tape, Sloshy, Tarantula, and Limousine tribute bands. And there would be flat rides here, like the Yellow Dello Carousello and the Pam Pam Balloons.
That's Pom Pom Balloon for those of you who don't speak Coach C.
But the thrill ride of the Free Country Field would be an extremely tall, extremely steep, hang time-esque roller coaster themed to the Steep Deep. If that's not enough of a weenie for you, I don't know what is. What else would surround the field? The Homestar Runnerverse is really quite expansive, so I think there could be all sorts of different little lands here. Of course, there would be Loose Leaf Land, inspired by strong bad skills of an artist. Here, everything is drawn on notebook paper. This would feature the Teen Girl Squad Dark Ride, which would be in the style of Mr. Toad or Old Carnival Dark Rides, with plywood cutouts of violence swinging out in front of your vehicle. And one of the tunnels would go through the arrowed guy's mouth. And with some spilled paint and a big drawing of Trogdor, Loose Leaf Land would segue into the lush greeneries of Peasantry, with the rather dashing statue in the center. Peasantry would have to include an actual Bowels of Trogdor, but one that actually stops occasionally and doesn't set the guests on fire. And inside the Trog Cave, there would also be the Peasant's Quest point-and-click ride venture, which would use a ride system similar to Toy Story Mania, but instead of shooting projectiles, you use the blaster to point-and-click at items on the screen, solving mini puzzles in each room. In other words, you're pointing, you're clicking, it's like a ride venture. And of course, the land would include carnival games, such as Mendeleev and Dongaliv's archery contest, and a beanbag toss game where you get to throw Beanbag Baby. The Tomorrowland of this park would of course be Planet K20XD6, where you can ask for a challenge in another shooting ride, Cinco Man's Challenge and Riding. This would be suspended vehicles a la Peter Pan's Flight, but designed after the ships in the Games menu, and mounted with blasters that you use to shoot animatronics of the various Stinko Man enemies. With 2 riders and 2 blasters per vehicle, if you both hit the same target at the same time, it's a double deuce! Planet K would also have the Limousine But They're in Space coaster, which would basically be, Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster mashed up, but in cartoon space instead of real space, and with Limousine instead of Aerosmith. It's low-hanging fruit. The next land is Dangeresque's Brain Blow City, home of a stunt show where Dangeresque clearly does his own stunts, as well as that arcade at the intersection of Doom and Gloom, featuring real stand-up arcade cabinet versions of Trogdor, Awesome Cross, Population Tire, and many other Videlectrix games. Plus, there's the Rolleresque Danger Coaster, which culminates in a Batwing shaped like cool glasses. Another land would be the Cheat Commandos headquarters playset land, home of tank bumper cars, a helicopter aerial spinner, a wild mouse called the Commando Coaster, a blue laser tag training arena, and of course, the cheapest free gift shop, where you too can buy all our playsets and toys. And of course, we need an actual physical sweet puttin' cakes, insofar as that can be physicalized.
Oh, I guess I forgot to print!
Also, think of the potential for seasonal events. I would be terrified of a Halloween Homestar Nights maze where around every corner you're being lured to come on in here. I'd be even more terrified of a maze with Marshy. But at the December Ween Party, it would be nice to see the Parade of the Santa Men, who may or may not be Blade Men. And I think those would be the most essential elements of a Homestar Runner theme park. But what about you? What would you want to see in a Homestar park? Or just in a Homestar dark ride or motion simulator or any other sort of attraction in a different theme park? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off. Welcome to the annual December Ween D-List, the show where I list Homestar Runner-related things, and my name begins with a D. Among the many parody targets the Brothers Chap set their sights on, commercials are a big one.
Homestar Runner will be right back. Homestar Runner will be right back.
Their ability to perfectly emulate the style of something you half remember seeing on TV late at night as a kid is, frankly, unparalleled across the board, and it's particularly well suited for commercials. So this year, I'm ranking my favorite Homestar Runner commercial parodies. And just to clarify, today we're only talking about fake commercials, not ads for real Homestar products. So none of the Trogdor the board game or Fangamer product videos. Maybe that'll be a discussion in the future. But for now, let's get listed. Number 10. Strong Bad Sings. I don't have actual data backing this up, but if I had to guess, a large percentage of the funding for cable television in the 80s and 90s came from commercials for compilation albums. I mean, I don't know for sure because famously my family did not have cable.
I didn't get cable cool as a kid.
But like anytime I was watching TV Land in a hotel room, the commercial breaks were mostly compilation albums featuring musicians I was too young to know and a bunch of snippets of songs I had never heard before, and then a way more boring sounding announcer at the end explaining over a blue background how to give us your money. And boy, did the Brothers Chaps nail exactly what these feel like.
Let's make believe that we're in love, so I can break up with you. You got an ugly butt, and it's stupid, but...
Also, this introduces one of the site's most enduring characters.
Oh, that fat bluebird. It's it's one of my favorite characters. I wonder, is the fat bluebird on the wiki?
Well, not at the time they recorded this commentary, but it is now.
You might expect to pay almost $100 for this rare collection. It's all yours for only one easy installment of $193.75.
Also, famously, there are two versions of this short. One where the song that Strong Mad forgets the words to is Happy Birthday. And one where it's Hot Cross Buns, because at the time, Happy Birthday was still believed to be under copyright. Of course, now that we know what we know now, it's a moot point.
To order your copy of Strong Bad Sings, call 1-800-428-6422 or send chat, cash, or money order to 4629, the place to be.
Now, of course, Strong Bad Sings eventually became a real product, but not for a few years still, and the real product didn't particularly resemble the product described in the fake ad, so this still counts for this list. Number 9. Coach Z's 110%. Motivational tape commercials are another ripe target for parody, and since the heart of free country USA is still theoretically athletic competitions, Coach Z is the perfect mortarboarder.
Hi, I'm Coach Z, and the makers of this commercial have asked me to speak in a more toned-down voice.
Okay, I love juxtaposing the over-the-top video toaster graphics trying to get you excited with Coach Z's uncharacteristically toned-down delivery.
The fundamentals, advanced techniques, training tips, and some lot more.
My butt-patented system will get the results your youngster needs to not get made fun of out on the field.
Homestar is very committed to this commercial, taking on two roles. The chorus reminding you of the pitch.
Hustle for sports.
And the testimonial from a terrific athlete.
Homestar runner, you just won the sports. How you did that?
Again, Team Knee Pads was such a perfect joke later that I legit always forget it was already a thing by this point. Less committed to the commercial is Strong Bad, but at least he does one-up Krusty the Clown in his blanket endorsement style.
This product is a product I endorse. On my hat.
And then he can barely even be bothered to endorse his own product.
On my hat.
Number 8. Fluffy Puff commercial. Before Marshy began his reign of terror on the advertising airwaves of Free Country USA, or at least before he was more than just a silent logo on the packaging, Fluffy Puff needed a terrific athlete for their spokesperson, and they went with Homestar.
I like to eat about 147 Fluffy Puff marshmallows.
Cut. The bag's upside down.
Oh, sorry.
And here he's being directed by someone who would go on to be quite an acclaimed director indeed, co-writer of the original children's book and future Mayor of Easttown director, Craig Zobel.
Seriously, folks.
Cut.
So,
you said Flushy Push.
I know. Can you believe it?
Yeah, they're called Fluffy Puff.
I know. Can you believe it?
Craig would also go on to voice Kevin in a few Marzipan's answering machines, who may or may not be the same Kevin who we know has a video camera, leading some to speculate about whether or not they're the same character, leading us to further speculate on the relationship between this character and Marzipan, and leading me specifically to speculate if that relationship is the reason Homestar got this job in the first place.
If Kevin is Cherry Greg, does he have a past history with Marzipan, and he was trying to get something out of her, and she was like, look, I'll be nice to you if you put my boyfriend in your stupid commercial.
Oh, that would make sense why he would put up with the whole several takes thing, like shooting all day practically. Ooh, the plot thickens.
It's always risky when the game of a sketch is the character is bad at taking direction, because it's so easy for just basic incompetence to feel unmotivated and comedically unsurprising, and for the scene to just become frustrating to the audience. Fortunately, Homestar is such an endearing character, and his incompetencies come in such specific flavors that I, for one, find it impossible to stay frustrated with him here.
Before I eat a tall slice of marmalade, I like to drink lots and lots of marshmallows. I mean fluffy puffies.
And of course, this format was later reused to perfection in the First Time Here short.
Homestar10.net. It's .com. Cut.
Number 7, Blubbo's commercial. We had already met the drive-thru whale, now let's meet the actual restaurant he supposedly works for.
Try your dang self the Blubbo's Classic. The original. The regular. The new original.
Ooh, I think both Spinal Tap and the band that was the originals before Spinal Tap have a lawsuit on their hands.
And the isosceles fish sandwich. Wait, fish sandwich? We have a fish sandwich? Does anybody ever order that thing?
That's a good question. Does Lent exist in Free Country, USA?
Welcome to Crap to Blubbos. Would you like to try a combo meal, some Chipotle potato nudgules, or our attempt at competing with national coffee chains' premium mocha chip milkshake?
While most of the Brothers Chaps commercials parody ads they remember from their youth, this may have been the most accurate parody of contemporary fast food commercials at the time of release.
At Blubbo's, all our vegetables are hand-tossed through a refreshing cascade of water and chopped in midair.
I have talked with other fans who don't like this commercial because they prefer the drive-thru whale as an inexplicable anomaly of its own and don't like the idea of world building around it by attaching it to an actual fast food restaurant. I get where that perspective is coming from, and in principle, I can't disagree. But in this case, the commercial makes me laugh enough that I'm really glad they made it.
Hey there, kids! I'm the drive-thru whale! I'll chop off your legs!
Sometimes it seems like you're trying to go to prison, Coach Z.
Hey! 3 square meals a day!
And this commercial gives us 2 slogans. A boring, redundant corporate slogan, and a drive-thru whale malapropism slogan.
Blubbo's! You guessed it. We're called Blubbo's.
Register does not contain more than 50 doctors.
I actually think the boring, redundant corporate one is the funnier slogan, since this particular whaleism is a little too interpretable, but it is still funny for that to be a slogan, even if he was saying the actual right thing. Number 6, Scenorial Day. I've talked about this one a few years ago on my Homestar Holiday Specialty list, but it fits on this list even better than on that one.
So come see me on this little dog for very low prices.
At this point, Sonor Card Gauge had already been established as a proprietor of shady businesses, and shady businesses love nothing more than major sales during the holidays that kids are largely indifferent to.
2005, 2004, 1999.
Those are all good years.
Of course, there was already another shady business owner in town.
Come check out my circumstance this Scenario Day weekend for Bob's Odathon.
I love that Bubs is rolling with Sonor Card Gauge renaming Memorial Day after himself. He still jumps in despite having no connection to the Sonor part of Sonorial, unless that's just always what the holiday's been called in Free Country USA, like Decemberween, and it's only a coincidence that Sonor Card Gauge is involved in Sonorial Day. Who knows?
Explosions, fireworks.
I've hinted at this before, but anytime we see 2 Homestars in the same place, it just reinforces my theory that Homestar is a time traveler and just completely forgets that he's supposed to avoid his other self, and his other self is always too oblivious to notice anyway. In this case, if you decompile the flash file, you'll notice that one of the Homestars has a mustache.
Wait a minute. Hey,
Two Homestars.
2 Homestars.
If you doesn't one of those have a mustache if you actually break apart the Swift? And
I don't know, you'd have to ask Matt.
I guess he just got off filming a certain other commercial.
I sell for sports. Our competition is a total racket.
I really love the contrast here between how hard Bubs tries to sell a deal and how little effort Card Gauge puts into, well, anything.
My left name is Tremendous Savings, Miss America. Go out for a pass.
You bet! Hit me on the slant!
Bring on down your whole family.
And all the business with the football is utterly classic. And that autograph has to be worth a fortune.
How about I hit you on the slant?
Number 5. Okay, so spoiler alert, I'm not including Meat Marshy on this list. Not because I hate Marshy, I really don't, even though he does creep me the hell out, but I do think he's capable of being very funny. I just don't think that Meat Marshy is one of the top 10 funniest fake commercials. But I do think some of the follow-ups to Meat Marshy were vast improvements on it. Halloween commercial. I've also talked about this before in my holiday D-list several years ago, and this is one of the best uses of Marshy. Not just because Halloween is the perfect time for Marshy's creepiness.
Sorry, must have got a toenail caught in my throat.
But also because, let's face it, holiday-specific versions of foods that are only cosmetically different is a ripe target for parody.
They taste the same, but look different.
And also because we get to see Marshy be scared. We see him so overwhelmed, such a slave to outside forces, whether it's the mysterious Fluffy Puff bosses or just the adoration of the public.
Stack 'em to the heavens, stack 'em to the heavens. I can write a song called Stack 'em to the Heavens. What more do they want? Come on, guys. Isn't that enough to get you to try Fluffy Puff Malloweens?
Have you ever seen a marshmallow have a panic attack before? It's even scarier than seeing him in control.
Tell Montenegro.
Boy, yes.
They fit on top of each other.
I don't know who Montenegro is or why I'm supposed to relay this information to him, but I will always love the Brothers Chap's commitment to the arbitrary.
We had debated making a free Montenegro shirt shortly after this, just a limited run of an orange shirt with Montenegro on it that said "Free Montenegro," like he was some political prisoner.
Oh, hello, little boy or little girl. Would you care for a fun time treat?
It's amazing Fluffy Puff was willing to work with Homestar in a commercial again. His acting hasn't exactly improved, but at least he seemed to get through the line this time.
But I did get to keep this cool eyeball. See.
Number 4, Sonor Mortgage. Okay, so I rank this higher than Sonorial Day. Yes, I know that arguably Sonorial Day is a yes-anding of this in every way, building upon it to something bigger and better. Arguably, yes. But this still wins points for being such a surprise.
Hi there, Belindas. I'm Sonor Card Gauge for Sonor Card Gauge Mortgage. We can help you get a leg up on the pile.
When Sonor Card Gauge debuted in the Kind of Cool female, he wasn't introduced as a new character, just as an alternate path Strongbad could have taken, who bears resemblance to an unseen character named Sonor Card Gauge.
So how did Sonor Card Gauge get invented? Didn't you just write that word in a sketchbook? Yeah. Sonor Card Gauge?
Yeah. But this cartoon confirms that this character we're seeing is Sonor Card Gauge, and nothing would ever be the same again.
Come along down for a free consultation with one of our handsome talking experts. One of them said they'd buy me lunch, but I don't see nobody taking me to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, but knowing what we know now about Chick-fil-A, that's probably for the best, buddy.
Low rate, percent signs, I don't know.
Bad credit?
No probalo.
And as many great jokes as Sonorial Day added to the premise, nothing, and I mean nothing in that short, tops the jingle here.
Get a leg up on the pile and refinance your dreams. Come along down and dial 555-555-585-555 Sonor Gauge today.
Number 3, Mr. Schmallow. Again, no Meat Marshy, but I will include a Meat Marshy remake, or in-universe, possibly a pre-make.
Have you grown loath of ordinary confections?
Admittedly, some of it is probably just my bias, where I'm really much more of a fan of old-timey nonsense than 90s nonsense. I was barely paying attention to things that were marketed to me when I was the right age for it. I was much more interested in things that went out of style before I was born. Things even older than the musicians I hadn't heard of in all those compilation album ads.
Look lively in today's go-get-em lifestyle with Fluffy Puff air-puffed sugar delights.
And I think this weird little Gussie Fink Noddle-looking marshmallow is just so odd in a way that's more captivating to me personally than the more unsettling in-your-face weirdness of Marshy. I really wish that Mr. Schmallow would make more appearances.
Air puffing is surely the future of eating delicious foodstuffs. Mr. Bossman wouldn't settle for much less.
And also, this one just has a much stronger joke density than the original Meat Marshy.
Add open flames to create a flavor taste that'll send you to the moon. Airport Sugar Delights.
Oh man, Georges Méliès really sold out.
That's right, the moon. Enjoy Fluffy Puffed Air Puff Sugar Delights.
But the big thing this one has that Meet Marshy was missing, a much, much, much catchier jingle, followed immediately by a redundant tagline.
Fluffy Puffed Air Puff Sugar Delights. Hand Puff at Factory in New Wisconsin. Fluffy Puffed Air Puff Sugar Delights. Hand Puffed at Factory in New Wisconsin.
And the ad ends by keeping you on high alert.
Look lively. Look lively.
Number 2. Okay, so I'm also not including the original Cheat Commandos commercial. And don't get me wrong, it's very good. I loved it when it came out. But now that we've had so many Cheat Commandos tunes since then, it feels less like a funny joke about merchandise and more like a backdoor pilot for a spin-off. A very good backdoor pilot for a spin-off that I'm very glad happened, but it's less funny to me as a fake commercial now than it was when I didn't know how much further they'd go with this sub-world. Because the first Cheat Commandos commercial was almost immediately topped by the second Cheat Commandos commercial. Cheat Commandos-os. This does a thing I remember a lot of commercials doing, tricking you into thinking it's a regular episode or a nice short with the characters before the advertising comes at you fast and furious.
H. Mendez, the work he's done, the work he has contributed to the medium of animated cartoons about cereal and toys.
They're huge. Enough can't be said.
Of course, at Cheapest Free Productions, the line between regular tune and advertisement is thin, to say the least.
We're saved! Sugar Crunchy Cheat Commandos! Oh, sugar cereal!
Yes, the only kids marketing more ridiculous than toys is food, and breakfast cereals are often the most ridiculous. The only thing missing from this particular fake children's cereal commercial is the element where someone is trying to keep the cereal away from someone else. Like, seriously, why is cereal always the most envied food item in commercials? Thereafter is Lucky Charms, the rabbit can't have tricks because they're for kids, Barney wants Fred's Pebbles, Sugar Bear can't get enough Super Golden Crisp, a literal burglar is trying to steal Cookie Crisp. The cereal companies really want you to believe that this is the most coveted item in the world. Anyway, Blue Laser isn't after the Cheat Commandos-os, but the cereal does give the Commandos the power they need to defeat Blue Laser this time.
What the crap?
Sugar Crunchy Cheat Commandos! Those sugar cereal!
No explanation for how it gives them that power, but since when is that necessary when it comes to selling things?
Well, that's just great!
And we get to see Marshy redesigned for the Commandoverse, and he's even scarier than usual.
With Fluffy Puff Marshmallows! O's.
Sergeant Marshy reporting for duty, sir!
Why does he look so much worse when his eyes actually open? What's with that?
Kids, get a free Sergeant Marshy action figure. Just send in $5, 25 proofs of purchase, and $5 shipping and handling.
And my number one favorite Homestar Runner commercial parody. Look, if you've been watching my Homestar videos long enough, you remember that my favorite thing in the entire Homestar Runnerverse is Peasant's Quest. It's not only an incredibly ambitious feat, making basically a full King's Quest game playable in Flash on a website, but it's also just a really good, really funny King's Quest type game. They have yet to make a sequel to Peasant's Quest, although they have teased sequels that may or may not ever actually be real, and they even made a fake commercial for a fake remake, which is good, but do you know what's great? The equally ambitious film adaptation, which is just a fake trailer, but it's still really ambitious. Peasant's Quest movie trailer. This is the biggest live-action production the Brothers Chaps have ever embarked on, at least as part of the Homestar verse, and man, is it fun.
So this was pretty fun to make, though. Wasn't it, Matt?
It was very fun. I want to make more of these.
We made this in January, I think, mostly, and it was cold, so, but it was a nice thing to go out and do something different than sit in the office and animate stupid animal characters all day.
It has a much larger cast than the Brothers Chaps are used to working with, mostly consisting of Atlanta improvisers, including Lucky Yates of Archer fame.
More like rather homely.
And it expands the lore of peasantry by introducing a king, laying out the complicated political boundary between the peasants and the Burninator.
I can't have you marching up there in your short pants, upsetting the balance.
I'll upset your balance, my lord.
Rather dashing, you will not sash back at this council.
And I love the DVD features for this. They've got outtakes.
Where
Where's my cottage?
Brian kicked the tripod.
Oh, great. This is just turning into a great day on the set.
They've got animatics, which is basically just showing the parts of the game that were recreated in live action. Except since the king's not in the game, they just straight up show King Edward in Castle Daventry from the original King's Quest, which I love.
I can't have you marching up there in your short pants, upsetting the balance.
And as an Easter egg, they've got a visual effects breakdown just to remind you just how ambitious this thing is. And the release was ambitious too. This launched during Super Bowl halftime on February 6, 2005, 8 days before the domain for YouTube was even registered. A live-action video this size, a whopping 13.4 megabytes, was enough to crash the website server, leading to multiple smaller file sizes being quickly made available.
Bro, baby.
Of course, now that YouTube does exist, everyone can watch this in its full 480p glory.
A Trog venture for the whole Trog family!
Now, it's still a good and funny fake trailer, regardless of how impressive it is, and regardless of its connection to my favorite thing the Brothers Chaps have ever made, but all of those factors together push it to #1 for me.
And the Trogdor comes. In the night. Not tonight, he doesn't. Come. In the night, Trogdor.
And that's my favorite commercial parodies from the Homestar Runiverse. But which fake commercial is your favorite? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and if you like this video, you might also like the video I made earlier this year about the one product that I really wish would be real, the Homestar Runner theme park attraction. Or you might like the rest of my Decemberween D-lists and other Homestar related videos in the playlist here. And until next time, this is Dave, signing off.
A Chevrolet of only yesterday, 1940.
A Chevrolet of yesterday.
Sally puts a cube, about a square inch, of butter into the top of a double boiler.
And drinks it raw.
Butter finds its way into a great many dishes in this kitchen.
At the King of Town's command.
I can picture Brian now.
Asking out Strong Bad. They're breaking down the Killer Dynamo's door, but what about Glenn and Mark Bell? That might be too deep a Homestar reference even for me. Oh, the cheat's throwing a light switch, Rabe. There, that's not too deep a Homestar cut.
Polyvinyl chloride.
Polyvinyl foamylate.
But of production goes into tires.
Yes, tires, providing a population for Strong Badia.
The marsh hawk.
Fluffy Puff Mosh Hawk.
Joining and gluing.
Always joining and gluing, never cheesing or choosing a classroom film.
This is a job for Superman.
You are the round egg. A showdown? Going downtown, you're gonna mess around? Let me in, ... This thing can kick 10 the cheats every second. Looks like I'm gonna have to jump.
My mommy done told me.
Lois needs typing lessons from Strong Bad.
Brakes.
This is what happened to Homestar. Lois!
She cuts them lightly with a knife.
I cut the crust off in the morning light. Ah, this is where Strong Bad learned how to go place.
The arrows call attention to important information.
Arrowed! Ow, my map!
This workman is a typesetter.
How does he type without boxing gloves on?